now listening to the Lineman Lounge,
where sleeves are optional.
Aren't you tired of the same old podcast? Aren't you tired of the same old things? Don't you want to switch it up a little bit? Listen up, cause I'm about to blow your brain. Let your seat kick back, let your feet relax. Come on over, take a listen to the Lineman Lounge. In the car, at your crib, anywhere that you want. Come on over, take a listen to the Lineman Lounge. Got the NFL, got MLB, got NBA, and some UFC. Got college sports, we talking fantasy. Come on over, take a listen to the boy Mike C. Only on
the Lineman Lounge.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Lineman Lounge, where sleeves are optional. I'm Mike. This is Evo, the thickest podcast group in the game, coming to you from Hangar 6. And we've got a pretty busy day. We got some UFC, we got golf, we got college football, we got NFL football. And it's been a fucking wild day in the world of sports already.
Yeah, it's been about a week since we got back to you guys, or maybe a little bit longer. I can't even remember. It's been a while.
I think the last day was we did a Saturday. Things came out on Sunday.
Yeah.
As of right now, Saturday looks like it's going to be our day. Next week, though, just so you guys know, we're not going to have an episode unless it happens sometime during the week. My family is going to be on vacation. We're going to Texas. Going to get to watch one last.
When do you leave?
We leave Thursday night.
Okay, never mind.
So Tuesday or Wednesday.
I was going to say, because Friday, high probably I'm taking work off. I'm getting new wheels, tires, lift put on the truck. So I'm just going to take the day, I think, because I'm not going to have a vehicle.
Yeah. No, we're going to leave Thursday night after I get off work, and then we're going to drive our asses halfway to Texas, stay with some family, then drive the rest of the way, stay with some friends and at a hotel for a couple nights, get to watch one last series of the Cleveland Indians. You guys all have probably heard they're changing their name from the Cleveland Indians to the Cleveland Guardians, so it's nice to be able to get to watch that one last series. It's not the last game. We're actually going to the game before the last game, but I wasn't taking extra time off of work, and turns out I fucking couldn't anyways because COVID gave me the old heave-ho when it came to my time off.
Yep. They slipped a pinky up your booty hole, twisted it around, and told you what's up. So,
yeah, with duct tape, sticky side out.
I blame the company. I don't blame COVID.
Me too.
You know,
but I don't want to get too far into that because I know some of those people watch this show.
We don't want to get super angry.
No, I don't want to get
during
super
the pod.
Angry. No.
Not unless we're getting into anger about sports and stuff like that, which will happen every now and then.
It will, especially the way my fucking college bets went today. I got to stop betting on the NCAA.
You know, I might stop having to bet altogether because things have just not gone great on the betting front, but I'm sure we'll get into some of that.
Oh,
but you had some football today. I had some football today. How did it go for you, Mike?
So we played a really good game. We were 6th in the league right now. We are on that fringe trying to fight for that last playoff spot at 4, going up against the number 2 team. They were very good. We played really well, though. Ended up losing 18-6, and at one point we had them on the ropes. Momentum had definitely shifted in our favor. Their sidelines were getting a little animated. They got a couple penalties from their coaches. They were very upset. We had them on the ropes. And then we found a way to shoot ourselves in the foot. Now, these kids are 9 years old. They're going to make mistakes. There's no way around that. We can tell them, this is your assignment. They're going to forget their assignment. They're going to go the wrong way. They're going to not make a play. And, I talked to my son. Offensive line is the only position in football where you're expected to win your matchup every single fucking time you're on the field. That doesn't happen with any other position. Like, if nobody talks about the line had a great day, you're expected to win your matchup. When you lose your matchup and somebody gets a sack or a tackle for a loss, that's when you hear a lineman's name. We did a great job up front. We had a couple of bad snaps, though. And when we make mistakes, we make them at the most inopportune time. Like, making mistakes is going to happen. We wait until, hey, this is the worst possible time that we could possibly make a mistake. And that's when it happens. That's probably a little bit on us as coaches, getting them more prepared for those, crunch situations. So I will absolutely
take some. You think it's the
blame.
pressure of the moment
I don't
on
know.
the kids as well?
It might be. So we had a couple of bad snaps. One of them talked to my son. He is the center, so he talked to him already. He's very upset, but he understands how to make those corrections. He could not hear the snap count on one because the other sideline, the stands, there were quite a few people there for a 9U game. They started getting real loud, making a lot of noise coming off that penalty from the other sideline. Couldn't hear the snap. He thinks he hears the snap. Ball goes back. It's low. That stuff's going to happen. I think in that crunch time, in that pressure situation, especially with the crowd noise, because we don't typically deal with a lot of crowd noise at 9U.
Yeah, you're not looking at silence snap count or anything like that
No.
at that age group. You're not prepared for that.
No, so
I mean, I would never think to prepare for that as a
no,
coach.
so
in that
we've had
spot.
some teams that will run some no huddle or some silent snap count, but when they run the silent snap count, we don't typically do a bad job if we're lined up because most of the other offensive linemen don't freaking move. Their center's moving, but their guard is always a half step late. Their tackles are late, and we do fine against that. So you're not typically preparing for that, and we're not teaching them, hey, we're going to go to a silent snap count. I'm going to put the hand down, or I'm going to give you a clap, and then 2 seconds after, like we see with a lot of college teams doing now, they're not ready for that. Like, we're still learning basic concepts at 9U. It was a well-played game, except for those few mistakes. If those mistakes happened at another time in the game, we can overcome them, but they came at literally the worst possible times that they could.
Yeah, that's unfortunate when that happens, but it's a good learning experience. It's good for
Absolutely.
the players in the long run, even if it doesn't benefit them necessarily this season. It's that long run thing. You'll have that memory. You'll be able to look back at it and kind of grow from it. Football today for me was rough.
Yeah.
We had a loss. It wasn't a complete blowout necessarily, but it was more of a logistics and coaching management type of issue. So apparently, the league switched up our game time sometime late last night, from an 8 a.m. game to a 7:30 game. In addition to that, the communication that happens at practices apparently isn't going down because I'm not going to the practices anymore because I'm at work, so I don't know exactly how that information gets put out at practice. But we have an app that the parents use and all the coaches are on except for the head coach.
Yep. Which
and-
I hate that app, by the way. It drives me crazy.
I'm done. I'm done with those apps after this season if I can avoid it. But we also have the coach who will email out to the parents and the coaches. And I was able to kind of discern that the game was supposed to be at 8 a.m. So most people were on the page of the game being at 8 a.m. Some parents, including one of the coaches, the offensive coordinator, was on the script of the game being at 8:30, and the league moved the game to 7:30 last night. So I show up at 7:15. Normally 45 minutes before the game is when the players assemble. I'm there a little bit earlier than that,
Right.
but I'm expecting to get started on our pregame warm 7:15, and it's just me and the head coach. And we're like, where is everybody? The entire other team of 16 players is ready to go. They are all there. And I was like, man, these guys are dedicated.
Yeah.
Like, they're here early, getting after it. This could be rough. Well, then the league director walks up, says, hey, it's 7:30. And our coach goes, yeah, I know. I wish our guys were here earlier so that way we could, warm up more. But, we'll figure that out. And he goes, no, your game starts now. Where are your players?
Hey, this is a great time to find out your game is right now.
Yeah. So game got delayed a little bit. They ended up cutting the halves shorter, the half time shorter, no timeouts, running clock the whole time to try to keep up and get the next game after us started on time, which it did not. So that put everyone in kind of a bad mood, especially the head coach. And he, I don't want to say he took it out on the players, but his actions weren't the same as what they've been in previous weeks or in the practices.
Right.
He was yelling a lot more. He was singling players out, pulling them off the field to
Scold them, or was
so
it
he
coaching?
was coaching, but it was more aggressive than he's ever been. Like, he's never pulled a single player off the field to be like, you're not doing your assignment. This is how to do it. And we're talking 5 to 7 year olds. So I
Right.
can understand
They're very
that
young.
outside of flag, that's a necessary thing, especially if you have players to rotate in. We're the smallest team in the league. We only have like 2, maybe 3 if we're lucky, players to rotate in at any given time. So there was that, and then we get to halftime, which, like I said, abbreviated halftime. And instead of giving the kids time to rest, they're doing 20-yard wind sprints the whole time.
Which is it. So I get being upset, being angry with your team. Now, granted, they're 5 to 7-year-olds, so you got to have a little gentler hand and coach them up a little bit more.
Well, that's the thing, is that the players didn't do anything wrong.
No, that's not on. And really, it's not necessarily on your
the
coach,
league,
maybe?
It's the coaching, the communication, and the parents if they weren't there on time. Because even if it was an 8 o'clock game, we had players showing up at 7:45, 15 minutes before the game time.
Yeah, so
like
that's on the parents. That's not on the kids. It's on the parents.
There's failures all around, okay? And no one should have been taking out on anyone other than after the game. That's when the discussions can be had and whatnot. Either way, coach is running them doing wind sprints. One of the parents, the team manager mom, gets upset. She's like, "Why are you running sprints the whole time?" And he said, "It's because of discipline." She goes, "Don't you think that's kind of a bad idea? Shouldn't they be getting resting?" He goes, "I fucking know what I'm doing," to the mom.
Yeah.
So she shuts down. She's off to the side. And he's like, "They need discipline. They need discipline. That's why we're doing these." And it wasn't a discipline issue necessarily. That's stuff that we should handle in practice.
Yeah, but so as a coach, as a parent of 3 children, when you're teaching discipline, the person you're trying to teach discipline to has to understand the end state of the punishment. Like, if I just punish and say, I'm doing this because you did this, if they don't know that, they don't see it, they don't actually get the lesson.
So that's the thing, is I didn't understand what he was doing, and I was out there assisting him corral the kids, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were just moving into, because you have to do warm-ups again before the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was just getting the kids ready, warmed up for the second half. I didn't know what was going on, which normally we line them up on one of the yard lines and have them do like 5 yards back or 10 yards of high knees, jumping jacks, butt kickers, that sort of stuff, just
your
to get loose or
calisthenic,
whatever.
dynamic
the normal
movements.
stuff. But then it was just sprints back and forth, 20 yards.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of confused as to what was going on. So point of that is there was no like directive, like, we are doing wind sprints because you guys aren't disciplined.
Yeah.
You didn't say that to begin with, so I'm sure the kids thought, "Oh, we're just doing some sort of weird warm-ups."
Yeah, we're just going to run our asses into the ground.
I didn't know what was happening until he got into it with that mom. So altogether, it wasn't too great. It was disappointing. The good news is that the kids seemed to kind of be unaware of what was going on. It wasn't even until the end of the game again that they were kind of like, "Wait, we just lost?" Like, because they were playing well.
Right.
Even despite all those issues, the first half, it was a tie game. It was 8-8 by the end of it. And then we didn't score again after that. The other team scored again. So it is what it is. It's kind of disconcerting a little bit. It's a bummer on that. I definitely left the game today not feeling great about it. But we'll see. We don't even know at this point how many more games we have left in the season. Our coach is some of our coaches are convinced that we have one more game. Our head coach is convinced that we have games going into November. So after the game, I got an email that I was CC'd on from him to the league saying, "Hey, I see we got one more game on our schedule. I thought we had X amount more." So he just might be confused again. So I don't know how long this is going to continue going, but we'll see. Hopefully this week we can make some corrections in practice. Unfortunately, again, I won't be there, but it is what it is. So yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm getting updates from my other coaches as well on our game next week that we won't be there for. Apparently, we're not playing the team we thought we were playing. We're playing a different team. We're playing the Black Colts, I think. Or no, we're playing the Cowboys. Never mind. All right, so that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. But anyways, regardless, we'll get off of sports.
On to some other sports. So a big thing for me right now, I'm a big fan of golf. It's definitely I played golf growing up a little bit here and there, and I got pretty decent by the time that I had gone off to college and right before I joined the Army. And then joining the Army, I played golf like once, maybe twice, and that was after deployments where you're doing half days, and it was like our excuse we're going to go get drunk. Because we're home, we're going to go get drunk, and we're going to play some whack fuck. Didn't really care about it. But with COVID and the quarantines and stuff like that, one of the things that we could do with other people that was active was go out and play golf.
Play some damn golf.
So that's kind of been a big passion for me in the past year and a half or so.
Which we have not fucking played golf.
Yeah, we haven't played in a while, and I've had the itch, and it's really bothering me. But either way, so I've been paying more attention to golf outside of just playing it. I'm watching a lot of training videos and things like that, and then I'm watching the big events that go on in the PGA. And right now, the Ryder Cup is going on, which for those of you who don't know, Ryder Cup, it is not an every year event. I believe it's every 4 years.
4 or 2. I know it's not every year.
It's not every year, but it is the USA versus Europe. So golf is a individual sport, except for the Ryder Cup.
Yep.
The Ryder Cup is when it becomes a team sport, and that just adds this whole new atmosphere to it. It's innumerably more fun.
Yeah, well, and I think
for
the fact
fans
that it's-
and the players.
I think the fact that it's in the States this year makes it even a little bit more fun because those U.S. fans will get a little fucking wild sometimes out
They
there
do.
on the course,
They do.
whereas compared to you're not getting that kind of interaction necessarily over.
You
in
get that
Europe.
normally on the first tee box,
Mm-hmm.
especially in Europe. So, you have like the hooligans and stuff like that from golf and everything in Europe, and they bring that sort of mentality to that first tee box where there is crowd chants. There is certain little things that they do, like whenever the players bring their club back for a practice swing, they go "Whoa," with the player doing that stuff. Like there's little things that they do, and then as you go along the course, the fans are way more animated, way more into it. There's a lot of professional golfers out there, and people have their Tiger Woods that they like, or this guy or the other guy. But this is like, I don't need to know who all these players are. I need to know I'm rooting for my team. Team USA. So people get really into it, and the players, you normally see very monotone reactions from them. Maybe a fist pump when they make a good putt or something like that. But after really good putts or real good shots, they get really animated. And they're pumping up the crowd. And whenever you hear the USA chant going, the USA team members are cheering them on, like, yeah, get louder for me. Let everyone out here on the course know that I just did something awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun to watch. And Europe has had the U.S.'s number for a while.
And they are getting fucking smacked right now. The U.S. is absolutely dominating.
U.S. has been dominating. We have an awesome team. All of our players are top 25 ranked players this year, and they're doing really well. So it started yesterday, two rounds yesterday. They do 2 rounds, a morning round and an afternoon round.
Yep.
We won both those rounds yesterday, and this morning we won most points in the round this morning. Now this afternoon we're not doing as well. Europe's going to probably gain some of those points back. It's going on right now.
So they're up right now. The U.S. is up right now 9-3 between the matches.
Yes, and after this match, if it holds true what it has been, it's probably going to be 10-6 by the end of the day.
Well, all we need is 14.5 points to take that cup home as the United States.
Yes.
So Europe needs a half point less.
Europe needs to dominate tomorrow.
Yeah, they have to dominate tomorrow, but they need a half point less because they are the defending. So it's the onus of the competing team to show that they have beaten them.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. If you aren't like a golf fan, if you can't stand to sit down and watch golf on TV, I understand that. It can be pretty boring.
There are a lot of sports that I would choose to not watch and watch golf instead. So I love watching golf. I thought it was so exciting. Like I love.
It's a good nap time for me a lot of times.
When Tiger was at his heights, man,
Yeah.
that was
It was
fucking
exciting
must-see
and entertaining
TV.
for sure. But I can understand why people are kind of like, this is boring. It's very quiet. It's monotone. It's very white. It's just
It's
kind of
incredibly white.
it can be
Especially with
kind of
Tiger
boring.
out.
But being someone that's I'm trying to build my game. I'm learning more about the game, so it makes it all way more interesting. I can sit down and watch golf, but I understand why people don't get into it as
Yeah,
much.
I get it.
This is where this is the match that you want to watch, the Ryder Cup, because it can bring those casual fans in. It can bring fans of just USA sports in. It's kind of like the Olympics in that regard. It's like, I might not know who the best water polo players are for the U.S., but fuck it, USA, let's go
Yeah,
win.
if you got USA on your chest, we're going for you.
It makes it way more exciting and inviting for people who aren't as big of fans of golf. So go Team USA.
I actually won some money
yeah.
in the first day of the Ryder Cup. Posted that along with my baseball parlay that I hit last night. So like $390 almost on the baseball. I won $60 on the Ryder Cup. I'm going to start betting maybe some more obscure things rather than fucking college football because especially after this weekend, it's been wild. But yeah, man, I love the Ryder Cup. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I was curious how Brooks and DeChambeau were going to be.
You know, it seems like it's just been kind of like they understand that they're teammates right now, and I think they've been kind of kept apart from one another.
Okay, smart.
Yeah, which is smart. Though
Which is
I would
weird to have
love
a-
to see them team together, and I want to see that like feel good story of like, okay, we hate each other, but we have a greater
We're
goal right now,
here
and
to
that's to take
beat
down
Europe's
fucking
ass.
Europe. So that would be dope. But and then Bryson yesterday had a 419 yard drive.
Absolutely fucking piped it. Dude.
Yeah.
He didn't like so.
Nukes.
When Bryson thins it, he still hits at 330.
Yeah.
So
Now,
when he lets one
It's like
loose,
60% if he hits where he's going.
yeah, oh yeah, he's not accurate.
Yeah.
But like when he fucking pipes one, and he had the wind at his back. They're in Whistling Straits, Wisconsin, I believe. Your favorite state, yeah.
It doesn't look like Wisconsin. It actually looks like a European link style course, which
It
is
does.
kind of cool. Right on Lake Michigan.
Yeah. So
A lot of wind.
he had wind at his back. Said, "Fuck this lake. I'm going over/around." And oh my god, I wish I could hit my drives consistently half as far as he hit that one.
Yeah.
Just 200-yard drive. I'm like, hey, is it in the fucking short grass?
It's definitely.
Let's go.
His drives are definitely impressive. They're the boom or bust play, but that's kind of the benefit of being on a team because that's you are teamed up, two players together, and it's whoever has the best score from that hole ends up winning. So if player A and player B from Europe both get a par, and one of the players from Team USA gets a birdie, then Team USA wins that hole. If they all get pars, then it's a scratch, basically a tie. So you can have one player take really aggressive plays like Bryson with his drives and have a safer play with him who's going to get something in the fairway when he's going for, the dunk, basically.
Yeah, Bryson is trying to fucking slaughter the ball every time he's swinging because he can, and that's exactly what you should do in that scenario.
Yep. So moving on, I guess from golf, we've got some UFC going on tonight.
We do have some UFC. Now I didn't see many things on the undercard that I was really excited about. We talked about the Dan Hooker a little bit before the show started.
Yeah. I basically mainly focused on the main card. It looks like a pretty decent main card. Not like outrageous, but it's a pretty decent main card. I'll be watching tonight on a completely legal format.
Yeah, I absolutely will not be illegally streaming the UFC because I would never do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that to Dana White.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to take any money out of Dana White's pocket because I know he's hurting.
Yeah, he's definitely hurting, and absolutely pays his fighters more than enough money.
Yeah.
And I've never, if you have ever listened to any of the previous podcasts, it was all a joke that I didn't pay for it because I absolutely would.
Yeah.
Makes so much money doing this that I have enough time to pay for Dana White's next houseboat. No, it looks like a really good card on the main card. I got a 5-leg parlay on the main card.
Okay.
But, I mean, did you have anything on the undercard did you wanted to talk about?
Nothing really on the undercard. I'm going to, like I said, watch Hooker. I'm rooting for him, but that's pretty much the only thing that kind of piqued my interest on the undercard. I'll probably still end up watching the undercard, but that was the only thing that really piqued my interest.
Well, anytime I can root for a hooker, I'm fucking all in.
Yeah, absolutely. They need money too. They're people. But for the main card, I only kind of really focused on Andrade. I think is going to win hardcore, so I didn't really focus
that's why
too much
she's
on
in the
it.
parlay. I got her in the parlay at minus 260.
I've got Blades over Rosenstrike.
I have the other way.
That's a toss-up for me, but I'm leaning towards Blades.
So Rosenstrike suffered that defeat to Ngannou that would have kind of propelled him into that title category, and has come back pretty well from that. So I think I'm hoping that Rosenstrike kind of continues this push forward and gets that opportunity to fight Ngannou for that heavyweight title, because who the fuck else is there? I mean, obviously we got Cyril Gane,
Yeah.
but outside of Cyril Gane and Ngannou, there's not a lot of guys in that division anymore, because I love Stipe. Stipe is about done.
Yeah.
Now, maybe Curtis Blades makes that push with a win here tonight, but I feel like he's a little farther back. He's an up-and-comer.
I think Rosenstrike is in the conversation as one of those top 3 guys, but and even with a win tonight, Blades will be propelled into that conversation more, but I don't think he's as good as it. I just, for whatever reason tonight, I'm feeling Curtis Blades a little bit more.
Rosenstrike is the underdog in this fight.
He is.
Plus 270. That's why I was like, oh, I'm going to add Rosenstrike. I know he can bang, and then boost my odds on my parlay.
Sure.
So,
I've got Diaz over Lawler.
I went Lawler. So Diaz's long, over 2 years layoff.
Yeah.
I think is going to play a factor. Now, the Diaz's
it very
are
well
always
could.
game. The Diaz's are always game. Doesn't matter. Fucking street fight, bar fight, UFC, boxing. Those dudes are showing up, and they're fucking throwing hands, and they have a chance to knock you out at any time. But Robbie's been fighting, right?
Yeah.
Robbie suffered a defeat to Ben Askren. I think that was the last time we've seen him. But Robbie beat him.
Yeah.
Almost certain, like he had him out almost. Askren survives, and then they call an early stoppage. He had him in a bulldog choke, and the ref said that Robbie tapped, but if you look back at the replay, it does not look much like a tap at all.
Yeah.
So I got to go with the guy who's been fighting. Now, as a fighter, maybe a layoff is good to get your body right. But the Diaz has been in a fuck ton of fights. So that wear and tear still is there.
I'm like a hard guy when it comes to nostalgia. So that's what's kind of pulling me a little bit more towards Diaz, I think. But yeah, Diaz is the underdog in that one. I'm pulling for Diaz. And then we got some women, Shevchenko and Murphy. I got Shevchenko
by a fucking mile. Like,
Yeah.
There was a bet that it was Shevchenko to win in the first round. I thought about doing it, but she has not finished her last couple opponents quickly. She's finished them,
Yeah.
but it's been in the second or the third round. But I got her on the parlay. I probably could have kept her off because she's minus 1,800. She's not fucking losing. She is the most dominant.
So ESPN
female
shows
fighter.
her minus 1,500 right now.
Well, I got in too early. The fucking odds changed, and maybe this Lauren Murphy will show us something. But it's Shevchenko's a fucking animal.
Yep.
I wouldn't get in the ring with Shevchenko. She'd beat the fuck out of me.
All these people would.
Yeah, no,
All these people would.
I don't care any women UFC fighter. I'm not getting in the ring with them.
Yeah.
Because there's only two ways that goes.
I'm not getting in a ring with a professional fighter in general.
No.
I don't have any classical training in fighting in any of the sorts of things.
I mean, I did
modern army
combatives.
combatives in the army.
I did level 2 combatives in the Army. That's the highest
Yeah.
level that I was able to do in fighting. I didn't do level 3. I'm fucking glad I
I did the same thing. I got
Level
to
2
level
was
2
hard
and I was
enough.
like, I'm done.
Yeah, level 2
that's
was
cool.
hard enough. Getting fucking dumped on my goddamn back every day, learning how to do slams and takedowns. I was like, cool, I got extra fucking promotion points. And now my back is absolutely paying for
Yep.
it.
All right, and then the main fight, Volkanovski and Ortega.
I fucking hate Volkanovski. But he's gonna win.
I got Ortega.
Oh my god, we are very different here.
Yep, I got Ortega on it, man.
Why do you got Ortega? Like, what have you seen from Ortega that tells you that
I
he
don't
can
like
take down?
Volkanovski.
I hate Volkanovski.
So I want to root for the people I'm rooting for. I didn't bet
Oh,
on
you're
any
not
of these.
betting. You're not betting.
I didn't bet on any of these.
Okay, so
these
I got
are my
bets.
picks. These are my picks of who I want to win
Now, don't get me wrong. If
and who I think is going to win.
If
but
Ortega
I'm not-
beats Volkanovski
I'm not
and I
willing to
lose
bet on
this
it.
parlay, that would suck.
Yeah.
I'd like $140 on a $10 bet.
Yeah.
However, if Volkanovski is not the champ, that's not going to hurt my feelings either. He fucking shouldn't be the champ right now anyways. Max Holloway beat him in their fucking last fight. I don't know how the scorecard came out the way it did. Now, in their first fight, Volkanovski tore Max apart. It was very clear that Volkanovski was a better fighter. Max Holloway, one of the best of all time in that division, comes back and looks like he clearly beats him, but it's a title fight. You have to win overwhelmingly to take that title away from the champ because the champ's going to get some things that maybe he wouldn't normally get. He might get a round here or there. A takedown means a little bit more. I thought Max beat him. Now, if you say we got a Max Holloway fight and a Brian Ortega fight, that's a little closer, I think.
I'm taking Holloway on that one. I like Holloway.
I love Holloway.
Yeah.
But I think their styles are different enough that Ortega could maybe cause him some problems. And this Volkanovski is going to fucking knock him out. And they were talking a lot of shit during that weigh-in. Volkanovski called him a drug cheat, which is a weird way to phrase it. You use fucking performance-enhancing drugs, but that's the way all of the goddamn people in the UFC say it.
Yeah. They all do it. They're just ahead of the line of what is considered doping at the point.
They're really good at hiding it.
Yeah.
There are some guys that are not.
There's tons of
fucking
things that they're doing that in the next year or two will be considered doping.
Yes.
and then they will push the line further, and they're going to find something else.
They're
always ahead of the game.
They always do.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that every professional athlete is doing performance-enhancing drugs, but the things that they do, the things that they find that work with their bodies,
they are biohacking themselves.
Yes, they
to
are.
get the best physical performance out of themselves.
100%. And if you're a professional athlete and you're not doing that, you won't be a fucking professional athlete very long.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
And I don't care what sport you're playing. Like, LeBron James spends $1 million a year to maintain his body. Tell me that's not performance enhancing.
Yeah.
Like, it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, I'm not saying it's drugs,
Drink.
but yeah, I'll drink too. But that is performance enhancing. Some of these guys, I guarantee, especially in the UFC, are blurring these lines.
Yeah.
But I got Volkanovski because I think he wins. But if he loses and I lose $140, like, as long as Ortega starches him, I'd be like, all right, cool. Fuck Volkanovski because he's a douchebag.
Yeah, I guess we'll have some shit to talk about as the evening rolls along.
We will.
We can see how that rolls because I wrote down my picks, so I'm not gonna go scratching these out and changing them on you. So
you came prepared with the notebook and everything.
I made notes so that way, specifically more so for NFL football.
Okay.
I did put my UFC stuff on there, but I did all my NFL football stuff, the little notes and everything when looking at the games this week, so that way we can review in future weeks and stuff like that and see how we're doing on our picks. You know, who was right, who's picking better, things like that. So
yeah,
that way we can
actually,
kinda get an idea.
Mike, old Spicy Mike, has created a spreadsheet for us to kind of keep track of our picks. At some point, I'm going to try to figure out how to kind of just pop that up on the screen.
Yeah.
From last week, we both did well, over 60%. I'd say if you bet every single one of those games, you're making money. Probably. So I'll take that. Potentially. Depends on what you're betting, what your units are, and what the odds are. But you're probably making money on those games. If I can figure out a way, when we get to our picks, I'm going to pop that bad boy somewhere on the screen.
Superimpose it somehow.
Or just, so you guys can see how we did. And then that way you guys can follow along. That way if we start sucking, you guys can start to fade us a little bit if you're betting.
Yep.
Because
you can put some shit talk in the socials or in the mailbag towards us.
Yeah, if you're betting and you're betting NCAA football right now, fade me on NCAA football. Whatever the fuck I'm picking, pick the goddamn opposite. Because it's been wild and
You want to get into that?
It's been getting more and more. Are you seeing the NC State game? Is that what you're looking at?
No, I'm looking at Arkansas beat A&M.
Yeah,
your
fucking
team to
Arkansas
pick Alabama.
Yeah, fucking fade me on college football right now until I can pull this back together. So let's get into college football. It has been, oh, Jesus Christ. So if you follow us on social and you guys saw my parlay, I think I've missed 4 of the fucking 5 legs on the parlay, and these are things that I should not have missed on. Well, I missed 3 of the 5, and there's only 3 of the games that have been played, so I missed on every fucking one of them. But I feel like there's some upsets in here that should not have happened. It's been a wild day.
Absolutely. So the game that's going on right now that you were referencing is Clemson, number 9 Clemson versus NC State. They're in second overtime. NC State just went ahead 27-21, and they missed their 2-point conversion.
Okay, so that means Clemson is going to have to score and get their 2-point conversion. NCAA has changed their rules after the first overtime. Now you must go for 2. It used to be after the second overtime. So they're trying to speed these games up a little bit, I think. NC State is game right now. Clemson is struggling. I mean, they've struggled early in the season, but there are a lot of teams that we thought were really good that have struggled early in the season. We got fucking Georgia State right now.
45 seconds left.
45 seconds left. 25-24. Georgia
State's down by 1 against number 23 Auburn.
And it's Georgia State.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much shit that happened. Arkansas. Number 16, Arkansas comes out. Smacks A&M.
A&M 20-10.
20-10. And that's my pick. You know what? And I'm going to fucking stick with it.
Because you got to now.
Because I have to. I fucking called my shot. I'm not fucking backing down.
Yep.
A&M's going to beat Bama. But A&M dropped a game they probably should not have dropped to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what is happening in the world of college football today. Colorado State plays number 5 Iowa.
And they
within
held
10
it
points.
out. They held it out to them. They were
up at
Iowa.
half.
Yeah. Now Iowa pulled that one out 24-14, but still that's not the type of win that you would expect. You'd expect to see a little bit more from number 5 Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely. Then a team that we both kind of buried last week in Notre Dame comes out and absolutely smacks the fuck out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, and fuck Wisconsin. Like I, always kind of generally say is fuck Wisconsin. I almost bet on that game, and like I said to you, I said I almost bet Wisconsin to win this one because fuck Wisconsin, but fuck Wisconsin, but
they should. That's a game that was perfectly set up. We thought Notre Dame was way overrated.
Mm-hmm.
They have not looked good against bad teams.
Yeah.
And now they go out there and smack a good team.
They play the Cincinnati Bearcats and my guy Ryder next week. So
hey,
we'll see how
I'm
Notre
pulling
Dame
for
does
fucking
against
Ryder in
them.
Cincinnati because I'm goddamn tired of Notre Dame. Maybe Notre Dame is that team that plays down or up to the level of their competition.
Yep. Iowa State lost
to
Baylor. Close game, 29-31, but still Baylor unranked. I mean, obviously Baylor's a big school, but Iowa State was 14. They probably should have won that one, and to have it be that close even is kind of crazy.
And then we get another close game, Rutgers, Michigan, 19 Michigan, who is supposed to have like a rebound year, right?
Yep.
If they don't have a good year, Harbaugh is gone. Like, there's no, like, he might even be gone if they get their asses beat by Ohio State again. Even if they have a good record and Ohio State smacks them, which by all accounts is probably not fucking happening at this point, they only beat Rutgers by 7 fucking points.
So how close do you think tonight's game, Ohio State versus Akron, is going to be?
Well, I can tell you that Akron is going to cover the spread because the spread's like 40 fucking 3.
48.5 right now.
I undersold it 48.5. We're not covering that. Ohio State will be lucky to cover or to get 48 points the way the offense is played. Now, there are some changes at Ohio State. CJ Stroud is not starting. So, and listen, you guys heard it on the last show. I do not want to bury Stroud. He's an 18-year-old freshman in college starting for one of the biggest universities in the country who has national championship aspirations every year. There is an immense amount of pressure. But he has not looked great.
And he's got the mullet behind him next year.
He's got the mullet behind him next year.
That's scary.
So, of the 2 guys that'll play tonight, somebody's going to transfer because Quinn Ewers, by all accounts, should win that job next year.
Right.
I'm interested to see what happens. Now, if one of these other kids go out there and ball out in McCord or, God, I don't even remember the other kid's name. I should know his name, but I do not remember it. This Cutwater got me already. It doesn't take many of these fucking Cutwaters to get going.
They're not looking for sponsors right now or people to sponsor, but those Cutwaters, they fucking slap. They are loaded with alcohol.
Yeah, they're no fucking joke. So we got Kyle McCord and Jack Miller. Okay. So I think both of them will probably see some time tonight. I don't know that they have made a definitive answer on who the for sure backup is, because when this competition was happening, CJ Stroud won the job, and then they never named this is the backup. I think that's probably Ohio State hedging their bets because every single one of these guys is an Elite 11 quarterback, and they would like to keep them as long as fucking possible.
Yeah.
Until we figure out who's playing quarterback. So we'll see both. Stroud has a shoulder issue. I don't know if they're upplaying the shoulder issue a little bit, and this is where I talked about I didn't want to bury him.
Yeah.
I think that it's good that we get to see another guy, see what they can do. Now, but this is an Akron team. We should go out there and cover 48.5. Georgia covered at fucking 65. They beat Vanderbilt 66-0. So we should be able to cover Akron 48.5.
And I mean, like you said, Rutgers held it out there with Michigan like we shouldn't have expected. You guys have Rutgers next week.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys could be looking at 2 losses in a row.
Yeah. No. We're not going to lose to Akron.
I don't expect you guys to lose.
The way this weekend has gone, I don't know. We should not lose. And fucking final, NC State beats Clemson. Number 9, Clemson goes down to NC State. Sorry, breaking news cutting in between the Ohio State stuff. Good for NC State. Fuck you, Dabo. It's been a wild fucking weekend in college football. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
This entire year of football, just NCAA, NFL, has been a little weird.
There are only 2 teams that are doing the things they're supposed to do week in and week out. And that's Alabama and it's Georgia.
But I wouldn't even say that. Alabama almost lost last week.
That's true. I mean, it was close. I don't know if they almost...
It was close.
It was very close.
I mean, Alabama is obviously the team to beat, but I mean, they showed that they have a chink in the armor.
There is a way to beat Alabama. Yeah. There absolutely is. Florida showed that, and it's a guy who can fucking extend plays at the quarterback position. Yep. Georgia doesn't have that guy. There's not a ton of really dynamic. Clemson might have that guy. Last year, but
yeah, I'm not banking on it.
No, I just man, Alabama's going to lose a fucking game at some point this year. I don't know who it's going to be to at this point. I'm going to say it's Texas A&M. I'm sticking with my fucking pick. I'm not going back. This is the goddamn lineman lounge. We don't bullshit.
For your sake, I hope that A&M wins because you're going to be able to really tout that around.
God, I mean, fucking...
You're going to have to roll into work with a wheelbarrow to carry your balls.
Swinging my goddamn cock around. Yeah, A&M. Yeah, but it's been a wild weekend. I'm very anxious for this Ohio State game to kick off because the way the day is gone...
You need a win.
I need a fucking win. I need a win because my team lost. My fucking bets lost on college football. I mean... I'm pretty confident in my NFL picks, but
yeah,
right now, fucking fade me on the NCAA.
All right. Well, you ready to move on to the NFL?
Yes.
All right.
I'm so ready because there were some games that I thought may be close looking at the schedule. And then some things happened throughout the week in terms of injuries. Some COVID, some guys who are not going to be big factors like they should be. I have 2 16-leg parlays.
Oh boy.
I bet every fucking game. So I don't know if you guys have seen the story or not. There's a guy who bet a 16-leg parlay last week. He hit 15 of the 16 on MGM. MGM actually let him cash out before that Monday night game, which was good for him. He ended up with a little over $100,000. Was looking at potentially $750,000.
Yeah, he banked it on the Lions beating the Packers.
Yeah, which was not going to happen.
I mean, we didn't know for sure it shouldn't have happened,
No.
and it didn't happen. But with the way the Packers played in Week 1 and how the Lions had, stuck it out with the Niners in Week 1, there was a possibility. But letting him cash out, it was a good play for him to get out of that.
And that's
shit.
good on MGM. And that's a good showing by MGM. Like, they could have took his money, right? But if they allow this one person to pull $100,000, that's going to drive more people to MGM, and all those people that get driven to MGM are going to lose probably well over $100,000.
Oh yeah.
There's a reason every casino and hotel in Vegas has a multi-million-dollar chandelier in that motherfucker. It's a legal way to print money. Like, that's what it is. We're betting against something that we have no business betting against because they're almost always going to win in the long run. But I'm going to fucking do it and try to put as much change in my pocket as I can.
I feel that. And I'm not putting money in my pocket right now. So the betting hasn't gone great for me.
So
and starting off with that was the fucking Panthers-Texans game. You put it out on socials. We both had the Panthers to win. That was kind of a no-brainer. And they did win. Yep. But motherfucking Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, god damn it,
So
man.
we had the super boost of him getting 99.5 total yards, not just rushing, but rushing and receiving together. He was on pace for that, had 40 yards, goes down with a thigh injury.
Hamstring is what it ended up being.
Yep. Pulls up, out for the game. So I stopped watching the game at that point because I really didn't care to watch the Panthers and the Texans.
No, I caught the end of the game because we were just getting home from football practice. So on Caesars, I also had the Panthers covering -8. On FanDuel, where I have my other book, they were minus 7.5. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to win one of these and push on the other. They ended up covering both. Thank God. But the McCaffrey going down on the Super Boost fucking killed me.
I put a lot of money on that just because I was like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well,
The only way he doesn't get it is if he gets hurt.
yeah.
And fucking of course, he got hurt. So I might start going in to fantasy football, take a look at who my opponents have on their team each week, and bet for their guys to do really good.
Yeah.
Either they're going to suck or I'm going to get fucking paid.
Yeah. Well, Panthers beat the Texans. Davis Mills' first game. Like we said,
Didn't look terrible.
he didn't look terrible. He's got one hell of a neck on him. But the Panthers overall were a better team to begin with. So even without Christian McCaffrey, that was their game.
Well,
and
where the fuck
no doubt there.
was Saquon?
What do
Can
you
we,
mean?
where was it? Did he show up?
Saquon Barkley
Yeah. He played, right?
for the Panthers or the Texans?
Oh my God, I'm looking at the fucking Giants right now. They got Eli in my face, so I'm looking at Saquon. Never mind.
I was gonna say, that's wrong.
Jesus, I might need another Cutwater. Sorry, I'm looking
I
at.
said they got a lot of liquor in them.
Yeah, I'm dumb. Fucking DUM dumb. So forget what the fuck I was just talking about. The Texans are not as bad as I thought they were. They have a little bit of game to them.
Are you saying that because of last week?
What do you mean? Because they stuck it close to the Browns?
Because they held it out close with your Brownies?
So that is part of it. I think we both think that the Browns are one of the best teams in the NFL talent-wise.
Sure.
Whether they're playing up to that right now, it remains to be seen. But they do a really good job using those three running backs. I didn't think they would find a way to make that work. That's too many mouths to feed, I thought. But they find a way to get those guys touches in the right spots. Now, Davis Mills is not going to be a great distributor of the ball early in his career.
And props to Lovie Smith, what he's doing with the Texans defense, too.
Yeah, they are not bad. They're better than I thought.
They're not good.
No, they're not good. But they're not as bad as I thought they were. I think the Giants, now that I was talking about Saquon, the Giants are probably worse. The Jaguars are definitely worse.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and I would hate this for Tyrod. Can Davis Mills get a foothold in on that position? Because we know who's not playing for that fucking team.
I mean, Deshaun Watson's not playing for that team.
Ever. Again.
But, I mean, so Tyrod's on the IR now, right?
Yeah. Oh, did he go on the IR? I know.
I feel like they might have said that he went on the IR for 3 weeks.
No.
I know
Tua
Tua
just
did.
went on the IR. I don't know if Tyrod did or not. I didn't see it.
Either way, it's like the same story over and over again with Tyrod.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Rookie quarterback takes over every time.
Yeah.
And he wasn't looking bad.
No, Tyrod looked pretty good.
Yeah.
He looked good in the Browns game. I was worried. I was fucking a little nervous when that shit started. After he scampered in the end zone, I was like,
I mean, it showed me something. Either the Browns are playing to their opponent or the Texans are a little better than we're giving them credit for.
I think we're playing to our opponent a little bit because our defense is not gelled yet. 9 new defensive starters. It's going to take some time, but we're not playing up to the potential yet.
Yep. So did you want to go over last week's games, or did you just want to jump into this week's games?
So, I mean, is there anything that we need to really get into on the last week's games? I know that there were a couple of bad beats. Your Vikings had a really bad beat.
So, I mean, like I said, I didn't expect the Vikings to win, and they came out and they impressed me.
They did.
They impressed me. They played well.
By all accounts, they should have won that game.
It came down to our kicker, which is typical Minnesota Vikings issue. When we missed the extra point earlier on, I said to the group that I was watching the game with, I said, we're going to lose this game, and it's going to be because of that extra point. All right? Now, it wasn't necessarily directly because of that extra point that we lost, but we missed a field goal that would have won us the game, and we lost by 1. That extra point that would have tied the game.
That was done.
So I'm proud of how we played. The Cardinals looked really good. We looked just as good, better sometimes. It was a fun game to watch. I was happy to see my team do well. I'm just, I'm bummed that we lost.
Yeah.
I'm bummed that it came down to a kicker again. I hate when it comes down to the kicker like that. But it is what it is. Es lo que es.
Yeah. How are we feeling about Titans Seahawks? You had Titans, right?
I did.
Yeah, I did not. I had Seahawks. I thought that travel was going to be brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry showed up.
So, and I'm going to get into this a little bit when we go over the Vikings Seahawks game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that game should not have been as close as it was. The Titans drastically outplayed the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks
However,
defense cannot stop the run.
The Titans looked worse, or the defense for the Seahawks looked better because there was a egregious amount of drops from Julio and the other receivers for the Titans. If they had just done those simple things, the score wouldn't have been this close. And obviously they allowed a lot of all-purpose yards to Derrick Henry as well. That Seahawks defense is not that good.
Yeah, Derrick Henry showed up. I mean, now granted, still ran for under 5 yards carry, which I'm going to bring up when we talk about the Browns.
Mm-hmm. He had a 60-yarder. He had one run over 15 yards in the game, and it was a 60-yard run.
Yeah,
so
he ripped
a backbreaker, but
he ripped one off.
Yep.
But otherwise, he's not a home run hitter. He's a fucking wear you out guy. But when you hand the ball off fucking 400 times to him, that shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, but we can get into the Seahawks stuff when we talk about that Vikings Seahawks game this week.
All right, a little recap from last week. Fucking Ravens were able to pull it out against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that fucked me hard too.
Me fucking too.
It fucked me real hard.
Well, the Cardinals not covering and the Chiefs not fucking winning were backbreakers on my bets last week.
So I texted you.
Yeah.
I said, we're about to get fucked.
Yep.
Because I had put a hefty sum of money on that game and did another boost modifier on top of that. I still had like a 50% boost on it, and I was like, yeah, it's just like a no-brainer to me. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking listen, Lamar did what he had to do. He starts the game
It was all
terrible.
Lamar, man.
Started the game terrible. And this actually reminds me of something else I want to talk about. Pick six, fucking first throw. Throws another pick, first quarter. Chiefs get out to an early lead. The Ravens fought back, man. That's something that the Browns were unable to do. That is something the Ravens were able to do. Now, the Ravens can be a little bit more dynamic when Lamar's got the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious that he hurt himself by flipping into the end zone.
Yep.
I know I never wish for injuries, but if you do it to yourself, Martin Gramatica style, I'm not going to fucking feel bad for you.
You deserve a little bit of shit.
Yeah. But good on the Ravens. I mean, that makes everybody in the AFC North 1-1. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
I was surprised that it happened that way. It totally fucked some of my bets, which I did not like, but
Yeah, it wasn't a great weekend for betting for me, but I'm sure we can recall to some of these games from last week as we go through the games for this week, because obviously what's happened in week 1 and week 2 is going to kind of set us up for how we're going to pick these games.
yeah. And you know what game I'm really, really excited for? Jets and Broncos.
Why is that?
Because I get to talk about my boy, Zach motherfucking 4 interceptions Wilson. 3 picks in the first 5 throws. Whoo, I cannot wait to fucking get to that.
Yep.
Because anybody who's been running their goddamn mouths on social that I'm being hard on Zach Wilson, if you're not being fucking hard on Zach Wilson, you're a goddamn homer and you don't know what the fuck you're looking at.
Yep. So
we'll
start off.
Let's get it.
Well, you want to go to that game first?
No, let's just fucking start at the
All
top
right.
and I'm ready.
So Washington at Buffalo.
I got Buffalo. Washington's not as good as I thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to think that Heineke is going to step up. But Buffalo is one of those teams that I expected to be in contention for the AFC title, possibly going to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, Browns, and Bills were my top 3 picks in the AFC. They should be able to dominate those teams that are not playing up to their potential. With Heineke at their quarterback, they are limited.
Yep.
Now, Terry McLaurin is a fucking stud, but they just they're limited with Heineke at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I've got the Bills winning this as well, but I don't have them covering. I think this will be a closer game. I think that Washington football team, they have a very good roster. The quarterback situation now is obviously what could potentially hold them back, but I think that they started slow in week 1, they started slow in week 2, and that they're going to continually build up to the roster potential that they have. I think that they will keep this game closer. The spread right now is -7 for Buffalo, so I've got Buffalo winning. I don't have them covering.
I do have Buffalo winning and covering. I think the Bills are really good, and I think that first week put a real sour taste in their mouth. They went out and smacked the shit out of the Dolphins.
So I'm taking that one as well with a bit of a grain of salt because it was a closer game until Tua went out, and Tua is kind of the linchpin for that team. Love him or hate him, he makes that team work right now. And Brissett is not the guy. Jacoby Brissett taking over and Tua
I
being
don't
on
dislike
IR.
Brissett. He is a top-tier backup, in my opinion.
He's a good backup, but I don't trust him to be out there like Case Keenum did for the Vikings and be winning you all sorts of games.
No. The Dolphins are in trouble over the next 3 weeks with Tua out, and I'm not a Tua believer. I think Tua is better than Brissett, but I'm not high on Tua at all.
Yeah. I think that was just like a backbreaker momentum type thing for the Dolphins at that point. As soon as Tua went out, it was a close enough competitive game where I thought it would be okay until Tua went out, and then at that point I was like, well, they're kind of done. And the Bills just rolled over the Dolphins from that point out. So I think the Bills are a very good team. Josh Allen hasn't been playing as good as he should be. The Bills haven't been playing as good as they should be, or as good as they were last year.
Is they're not playing as good as they were last year. I think they can step it up a notch and get back to where they were.
Yeah.
And I know you were not a huge believer in the Bills at the start of the season. I wasn't either. I thought Josh Allen was playing a little outside of his mind, but he carried it all through the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they continue kind of getting right, and they go out there and they put one on the Washington football team, possibly the Washington Red Wolves.
Yeah, I think it was down to four names now.
Or the Brigade,
or the
Armada.
Armada, that's the one.
The Armada was my pick when we talked about it. I don't like the Red Wolves, and I don't like the Red Hogs. Name another team in the NFL with more than one word as their mascot. There ain't one. That's why I don't like the Red Wolves and the Red Hogs. So give me a single name team, the Brigade or the Armada. It's just fucking easier. It flows.
Okay.
The red thing, I think that's a little. They're trying to hold on a little bit to that old lineage because they were the Redskins. Mm-hmm. One word, derogatory term. So I think they're trying to hold on to a little bit to that. I think they're going to go with either the Brigade or the Armada, single word or team. So
now they did show the potential logos for those teams as well.
Fucking awful, every single one of them.
Yeah, I didn't like any of the logos. I did like the Red Wolves the best. I like more of that. I don't necessarily want to say cartoony character, but those cartoony character animal type. I like those logos over,
they look
especially
like
over the
double
ones
A
that
baseball team.
Yeah,
they're not good.
Yeah,
and trust me, I'm going through one of my own teams having a logo change, and one of our logos, the fucking baseball with the G's, looks goddamn terrible. I don't know. These are multi-million, billion-dollar organizations going through a rebranding. You've got to find somebody who's fucking better at this because
they hired him straight from Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't like
so
it.
Going on to the next game, I figure we'll keep the Browns game and the Vikings game
towards
until the end. So we have the Ravens and Lions in Detroit.
I mean, the fucking Ravens just beat the Chiefs. They were able to find a way to overcome the injuries, to overcome the lack of coaches. They fucking just had 4 defensive players go on the COVID list. they're going to find a way
Yep.
to beat the fucking Lions because the Lions are the goddamn Lions.
Yep, I have Ravens covering. It's 7.5 right now. I will say this: I think the Ravens are going to be very quickly overrated. I felt that they've been overrated. I think they're overrated now because they beat the Chiefs. That's like the maximum of their potential. I mean, we saw Mahomes throw his first interception in September, first loss in September.
Yep.
These were outliers to
Are the
those
Chiefs
things.
a little overrated from what we expect?
I've always not always, but I have felt that they're overrated. I still think that they're one of the top 3 teams in the AFC, but I felt that they are a little bit overrated and that it is mostly because of Mahomes.
Yeah. So
And Mahomes is not overrated. He's the best quarterback in the NFL.
yeah, he is. Absolutely.
So there's something to be said about that, but I think the Ravens are not as good as what they have shown. I think that they will have that return to the mean, but not against the Lions.
Yeah, the
not
Lions
like you
are-
said, they've got players that are out because of COVID and stuff. You know, they're trying to trade Jamie Collins. It's
Yeah, the Lions
not
aren't
a great, not a great situation.
I think Jamie Collins was a terrible fit for that organization with a new coaching change because fucking Motor City Dan Campbell does not fuck around, and Jamie Collins is known to basically only fuck around.
Mm-hmm.
So on that last game, though, I had Ravens covering, or not Ravens. So Ravens covering.
Yep.
Lions -7.5. What was the fucking game we talked about that before? It was the Washington.
Washington and Buffalo.
Yeah, so I got Buffalo -7 there. So.
Yep. Colts, Titans in Tennessee.
Do you want to go first? Because I feel like you have something that you'd like to say.
Are they going to wheel Carson Wentz out on 2 of those knee carts? Like, how long before he dies?
Yeah, I knew this was. I didn't even. we
2
didn't even
sprained
talk.
ankles, and look, I saw the play where he got at least one of the ankle sprains where he was rolled up on by Aaron Donald.
Yeah, it looks
And
tough.
I thought, they did not even really mention it in the broadcast, but the way that his leg was wrapped around underneath Donald as he was falling backwards, I was like, that's how you tear ligaments in your knee or whatever. Like, I thought and he went out after that. I was like, yeah, he probably could be done for the season.
I thought he got dacked
He went out. He came back in, but
for what a play.
not very much. Yeah. Look, the Colts' success heavily hinges upon having a quarterback out there.
They
who,
don't have a fucking quarterback.
No, and
They
I don't like.
So they have at best right now, average quarterback when Wentz is on the field.
Right. I'll
When
give
you
them.
have
I'll give
Sam
them credit.
Ellinger or fucking the hell's the other kid's name from Seattle or Washington?
Doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
He's not good.
No. Jacob Eason, the guy with a fucking missile launcher
Yeah.
attached to his right shoulder, but has no idea how to put any touch on a
He
fucking
doesn't
ball.
know how to spell the word touch.
No.
Look, I don't like Carson Wentz. I don't like NDSU for that matter. I think he needs to hang him up because he's going to die. For his own health, he needs to get off the field or else he's going to die.
And it's his own fault. Honestly, he holds the fucking ball too long. That was his problem in Philly. That's why he had now the knee injury. That's him trying to make a play. But some of the things after that, it's Carson holding the ball too long. I had Colts fans tell me, God damn it, Carson is holding the ball way too fucking long. He is. He's gonna he has no idea how to give up on a play. This is what drove Andrew Luck out of the league.
Yep.
Would not give up on a play and fight for the next down. Like, Carson, protect your fucking self. He doesn't. He won't. And he's not that level of talent anymore because, honestly, his confidence is absolutely fucking shattered at this point.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. The Colts hung it out with the Rams. They did. All right. I think that's another situation of the Rams are a very, very, very talented team. I could see them going to the Super Bowl this year or at least the NFC Championship game. But they have been playing down to their opponents. All right. So the Bears stuck it out with them in week 1 for a while.
Yeah.
All right. They showed some weaknesses in the Rams, or the Rams are sleeping on them. I don't know which. But that game shouldn't have been as close as it was.
No.
This game shouldn't have been as close as it was. So I'll give some credit to the Colts. Maybe there's something with the Colts and the rest of their squad where they're able to hold it out a little bit better with some of these teams.
Can't win that quarterback in the league.
But it's not. Yeah. The Titans, like I said, they should have steamrolled based on their play last week against Seattle. They should have steamrolled them, and they were shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. They're starting to get their feet under themselves again. They're focusing on the run game. The Titans are going to win this game, in my opinion. They will cover 5.5.
Oh, you got 5. I got Titans covering 5. So that one helps me.
I updated these spreads just before I came over here, so they could have changed again. But
no, I placed this bet.
This is 5.5.
Friday.
Yeah, it's 5.5. So I have the Titans win this game. They're home. They are feeding the rock to Derrick Henry, and the Colts are going to put a corpse out at quarterback potentially. They haven't said whether or not Carson's playing.
They're talking about fucking playing him.
Yeah, it's silly.
I don't know how they're going to play him. I don't understand it.
Unless they have Phillip Rivers committed to coming back once Carson is in a coma, or they have something else going on, whether it be they think they can get Kaepernick, or they think they can bring Cam in or something and salvage the season. I don't know, but the Colts are doing a disservice to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is doing a disservice to himself. They're a very good team that is predicated on good quarterback play, and they don't have that
at all.
It's Titans all day for me.
Yeah, I got Titans.
Covering.
I got Titans. I got Titans covering, and it's because of the quarterback situation. I'm not going to belabor that point, so we can move on to the next game.
Alrighty, Chargers Chiefs in Kansas City.
The Chiefs are not going to lose back-to-back games.
No.
I got the Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs, but I don't have them covering. So the spread right now is 7. I don't have them covering.
I got the Chiefs covering 6.5.
Okay.
I think it'll be a close game.
The over is 54.5 right now. I am willing to possibly take the over, but we are super hardcore on the over last week with Dallas and the Chargers, and that didn't work out.
That was my fucking lock of the week, and they didn't score hardly any goddamn points.
Yeah, so which is surprising because those are two extremely strong offensive teams. Now, I had Dallas winning, and Dallas did win.
Yep.
All right. But I think that Kansas City is going to try to come out and show that they're better than what they were last week. Yeah. They're not going to lose 2 weeks in a row. No. Kansas City will win this game. I think it will end up being closer.
I think a big impact on this game, and something the Chiefs really need to fucking do, they have got to find a consistent running game.
Yeah.
Because they don't have one. CEH, I have him on one of my fantasy teams, and I'm trying to fucking trade him away. He's not consistent. They don't run the ball consistently.
He looked good in the first couple games last year, and then he's just kind of been a meh back.
Yeah. Chiefs are going to win.
Yep.
But I have the Chargers covering because the Chargers are a good team. The Chiefs don't have a consistent run game. You can literally just hang back and fucking... The reason the Browns didn't win that game is one fucking play, one Patrick Mahomes only type fucking play off his back foot 50 yards down the field that goes for 75 yards.
And the Chiefs, I'll say this too, the Chiefs are notorious for playing at the same level of their opponent. That was something that they were hit on last year.
They don't fucking cover.
They don't blow people out. They do not cover.
They fucking don't cover. I don't know if I'm ever. Now, if they play the Jaguars, I'll bet them to cover.
I got KC, but I don't have them covering.
Yeah, they don't fucking cover. I will never bet on Kansas City to cover until they fucking prove me wrong. Yep. It's insane that team is supposed to be that good, but won't cover.
Yep. Moving on, Saints Pats in New England. I've got New England, and I do have them covering. Spread right now is -3. So I got New England winning that game. I think that the Week 1 game for the Saints was an anomaly. They didn't look good last week. So I think in New England, again, Pats, they'll win.
Yeah, I got Pats, and I have Pats covering.
Yep.
I think Jameis had a great first week, but Jameis is going to be Jameis. We saw it against Carolina. Jameis will force throws that he absolutely has no business fucking throwing.
I think they had him prepped for that week 1 game, and then afterwards he probably was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a good quarterback in this league," when he's not necessarily a good quarterback in this league.
No.
And then so he went out trying to be a little bit of his old self, which is what needs to go be put in a coffin and buried out in the bayou. He he needs to play the game that he was playing week 1. Let Sean Payton take the wheel and tell you how to play your game. Don't go trying to be Jameis over like you were in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Bill is going to dial up some shit that is going to absolutely rattle Jameis. Just like Bill drew up some shit last week to rattle a rookie quarterback. I got Pats covering, and honestly, I'm not even sure it's close.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised that they have New England -3 right now. I would have thought it would have been a larger.
I think people are
number,
overselling that week 1 victory over a Packers team that was not prepared to play because of all of the
I'm not
internal
sold on the
turmoil.
Packers still yet, though, but we'll get to that.
We will.
Next game, Bengals-Steelers.
Go ahead. I'm going to check the camera.
All right, Bengals-Steelers at Pittsburgh. All right, so this is it's not that crazy of a spread. Let me check here. Steelers -3. I actually have the Bengals winning.
Dude.
I have the Bengals winning this game. I watched a little bit more of the Steelers this last weekend. Big Ben is washed up, dude.
Yeah, he's washed. Been washed.
He has been, but I mean, like, his arm he's slow. He's telegraphing. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Steelers right now.
I don't either.
So I got the Bengals winning this game. I think I even have them covering in Pittsburgh. I know that's a little bit more of a it's a bit of a rivalry.
If you got to win them, they're covering because the Steelers are the favorites, -3.
Yeah.
I can sit here and I will bash the Steelers and how good they are not. They win this game, and they cover. It's not because of Big Ben. It's not because of that offense. Shit, it's not even because of that defense. Mike Tomlin is not going to go out there and lose to 2 teams he probably shouldn't lose to 2 weeks in a row.
TJ Watt's out.
I understand.
That doesn't help him.
It does not help them. I have the Steelers.
Najee got a touchdown last week and the whole stiff arm or whatever, right? He did a whole stiff arm play. He still didn't play good. Look, I
don't know if it's Najee or if it's their offensive line. I have the Steelers covering because I don't have faith in the Steelers. I have faith in Mike Tomlin. And that's the only reason I took that game that way.
So I don't have a whole lot of crazy picks this week, but that's my one where it's not the favorite. And it's a away team. I got the Bengals winning that game. Cardinals, Jags in Jacksonville.
I got the Cardinals by a landslide.
Yeah, so it's...
I actually placed a bet on this for the Cardinals to either be tied or leading after the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. They're going to dominate from beginning to end. Now, I've had some Cardinals fans say, no, this is a trap game. We're going to lose. This is what always happens.
They said that last week as well. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Vikings played them well, and the Vikings probably should have won that game if we had a competent kicker.
They should have lost last week.
And
that's why they're going to come out here and dominate the fucking Jaguars.
Yeah, so
because they should have lost. They're not going to let that happen twice. And I don't trust Cliff Kingsbury. You know who I don't trust more? Urban fucking Meyer.
Yeah.
He is gonna...
His comments about it's like playing Alabama every week on a hot mic.
And I hate bearing Urban because Urban brought me a national championship to Ohio State. He's out of his element. He's not an NFL coach. Some guys are not NFL coaches.
Yeah.
Now, Matt Rule is making a great transition. Urban's not. And I don't have much faith in Trevor Lawrence at this point.
I'm not willing to.
I'm not saying he's done. I'm not saying he's a bust.
I'm not willing to say no to Zach Wilson yet. I'm all about giving some of these quarterbacks a year at least. I mean, by the end of the year, I might feel a whole lot different.
Zach Wilson's going to break the record for most interceptions in the season.
What's that record? I don't know what it is.
32.
By Jameis?
Nah, Jameis had 30, but I think there's more.
Brett Favre?
No, I don't think Brett threw that many.
I mean, Brett Favre has the record for most interceptions ever.
I don't want the guy who picked off the most. That's Night Train Lane.
I do have the cards. I have them covering. Currently, it's cards minus 7.5. So,
Okay, he's not going to break the record. It's a little higher than I thought. It's 42
ouch.
by George Blanda, but this was in 1962.
Okay. Well,
The modern record.
The quarterback was different back then.
Yeah, the modern record, Vinny Testaverde threw 35. I could see him getting there.
I mean, was that Testaverde with Jets?
Testaverde with the Jets in 1988.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's possible. That's possible. But yeah, this should be a no-brainer. I guess I would call it my lock. I feel like you would call it your lock. Cardinals over the Jags.
Cardinals over the Jags all day. I'm betting a dominant performance.
Cardinals
Kyler
still don't have a run game, but Kyler is the X factor.
Is playing at an MVP level.
Yeah. See, he's still making some bad decisions.
Yes. He made.
You saw a couple interceptions against the Vikings.
The second one wasn't his fault. There was a face mask.
Okay. Did his face mask get touched? Yes. Had he already been in the process of releasing the ball? Yes. And he threw into horrible coverage. So I'm not blaming the face mask on that one. That was just a bad choice of where to throw the ball.
Yeah, it was not a great decision.
And it wasn't a hardcore face mask either. I mean, he hit him in the face mask for sure, and there should have been a penalty on the Vikings.
Yeah.
100%. All right? But that wasn't what caused the interception, in my opinion, at all. That was him throwing into double coverage.
I think if Kyler doesn't get his face mask hit, he gets a little more on that ball. It doesn't come up 5 yards short, though.
But Xavier Woods was playing the ball the whole time. He was spying him. So
yeah, I mean,
I think it would have at least been broken up.
Yeah, it gets broken up. I don't know if it gets picked. Regardless, Kyler's playing like an MVP right now.
He's playing very good right now.
Can Kyler keep up that level?
His scrambling is really keeping him alive.
Yeah, I don't know if Kyler can keep that level up. I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury can keep this level up because they're going to figure it out at some point. But it's the Cardinals, and it's by a goddamn landslide. I got them every quarter.
It always scares me when an offense becomes one-dimensional. They don't have a running game other than Kyler. Kyler and his ability to squirt out and get some extra yards. That's the scary part of the run game for them. But the rest of the running attack, James Conner, he doesn't really scare me.
James Conner is in the wrong system. That's not the type of back he is. He is a one-cut, pro-style offense back.
And Chase Edmonds, he's more of a receiving back. On the year, he's got 20 rushes for 109 yards, which isn't a bad stat line, but they're not feeding him the ball because they are a pass-heavy team. And so once you become one-dimensional like that, I mean, if you're going to become one-dimensional, it should be towards the pass in this league. But I think that is going to become a weakness against the better teams in the league.
I agree, but we both think Cardinals fucking smack the Jags, right?
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely happening. And that takes care of all of our games, all of our early games.
With the exception of our teams, right? Because you guys
correct.
are early.
Nope, we are an
guys are
afternoon
late
game.
again?
We're a 1:00 game here. In Arizona, it's a 1:00 game. And you guys are an early game. You're a 10 o'clock game.
Yeah, we play mostly early. So let's do this. Just check the camera. Battery was on the red, but not blinking. But let's take a break. Let's do a little charge on the camera.
Mike's going to do his poop.
I actually don't have to poop right now. But let's refresh
Give it time.
some beverages, and let's I'm going to go check in on the Ohio State game, and we should be fucking slaughtering Akron if we're not. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Lineman Lounge. Actually had one of my buddies hit me up and, say some really encouraging words to me.
I had the same thing, and actually my buddy hit us up in the mailbag, so that'll be fun to look over. Ooh. Yeah, you should go check on the Ohio State game.
Fuck me. So anytime we can get that kind of feedback, guys, we appreciate it. Even if you have bad feedback, like if you tell us that there's something that we're sucking at, we will take that and we'll try to improve. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. Follow on social, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I actually posted something on Instagram not too long ago, also on TikTok. There should be a new TikTok coming out soon. And guys, you fucking rock. Thank you for all your support.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
We fucking do. All right, guys. We'll be right back. Como estas, bitches? We are back. This is Mike. That's Evo. This is the Lineman Lounge. Took a nice little break. Got a little food in my belly. That way I could pound down 2 more of these fucking delicious Cutwaters. Got to watch some Ohio State. If you guys heard right before we left, Evo was making me very fucking nervous. However, Ohio State up.
Akron was up 7-0 when I looked at it.
They were. Now Ohio State is up 38-7 going into the half. So Ohio State is doing what the fuck they should be doing. Kyle McCord looks pretty good. No, I mean, he doesn't look great.
He's playing Akron.
One of the touchdown passes he threw to Njigba. If you're playing a good team, that's not a touchdown. Underthrew it. But I'll take an underthrow over an overthrow any day. Because an underthrow gives my guy a chance. Overthrow, nobody has a chance. Where do you feel on that?
I mean, it depends. I would prefer just an accurate pass overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had to suffer through quarterbacks like Christian Ponder on the Vikings or Tavares Jackson, who are notorious underthrowers. Yep. So I just don't like seeing underthrown passes to like open receivers and stuff. So I would prefer just, an
accurate ball. Yeah, me too. But I mean, once again, we are fucking playing Akron.
I have too often seen overthrows that are tipped, interceptions, stuff like that.
Yeah, overthrows scare the shit out of me because they often turn into interceptions. An underthrown ball, a lot of times there's just no play made. That's kind of why I will lean towards a little bit of an underthrow over an overthrow, especially across the fucking middle of the field. Overthrows, those are picked by safeties. But Ohio State doing what the fuck they're supposed to. But we're not talking about college football right now. We are talking about NFL. So we ready to hop back into it?
Yep. So we've got our afternoon games that we'll go over. And I think we'll start off with one that we don't really need to go over too much. It's Broncos-Jets.
Yes.
I think the Broncos are going to win.
Excited.
So we can move on to the next game.
No, fuck we are. We are not moving on because I have some shit to fucking say about the Jets. And what I'm going to say is I'm fucking right. And if you were on the Jets or Zach Wilson, you were fucking wrong. Listen, the Jets are a terrible team, right? Nobody expects the Jets to be really any goddamn good because they don't have any talent. But you cannot have a talented... If you don't have a talented team, you could still not throw 3 fucking interceptions in your first 5 passes.
Yeah, he was when he hit his 4 interception mark. Zach Wilson had thrown 4 completions. So
so Zach Wilson
a little rough.
Was absolutely fucking atrocious. I don't know. Have you looked at Zach Wilson? I know that I've asked you a couple times. You're like, no, I'm not watching the Jets.
Just the clips that are being shown, which are just all of his interceptions.
Yeah, he's late. The fucking deep comeback that he threw was so late. Comeback? The deep comeback that he threw was so fucking late. The corner had time to wait on the ball to get there. He has no rhythm. He has no timing. Now, don't get me wrong. This Jets offense is fucking atrocious, but he's making it worse. He is so indecisive in the pocket. He has the hitch. He throws balls to the middle late. He thinks he has more arm talent than what he has. Now, he's got a lot, but he cannot make every single one of those throws late like he did in college playing at BYU against inferior fucking competition. Those guys are not going to pick you off. Every single guy in the NFL is the best of the best. Those are the top players in the fucking world. If you make those kinds of throws, if you make those kinds of decisions, they're going to make you pay. Whether they are a first-round pick or a fucking undrafted free agent. Somebody in the NFL wanted them enough to pay that man his fucking money. And Zach Wilson is learning a very hard lesson very quickly that his arm talent is not good enough for guys to get open. He needs to throw them open. He has to anticipate throws, which he does not fucking do. And you know who he goes against this weekend? One of the best secondaries in all of the NFL in the Broncos. They're going to pick him off at least 2 more goddamn times. Now, I said that he was going to set the record. He's not going to throw 42. They will bench him before he gets to the point of throwing 42. But he might get in Jameis range. He might get 30 picks. But then again, can they keep him in that long? Because he's not going to throw 30 touchdowns or 5,000 yards like Jameis did.
No, that's this last game against New England. He was 19 of 33, 210 yards with those 4 interceptions. No touchdowns, sacked 4 times. Now, both of his games so far have been sub 60% completion percentage, 57, 54%. It's rookie struggles on a bad team. He could be making a lot better decision making, and he actually came out this week and said that he's going to be adopting, or his aim is to adopt, a more boring style of play and to play smarter.
Well, he fucking needs to, because his style right now, his gunslinger mentality, his escapability, his off-schedule plays that everybody raved about, that shit doesn't always work. Those are few and far between. Guys who win from the pocket win in the NFL. Like, we've seen it for a fucking century. Those are the guys that win in the NFL, guys that can win from the pocket. Yep. Now, those guys that can do extra, those guys are special. We're still waiting for a Lamar to win from the pocket consistently, but he can still win from the pocket when it's clean and the look is right. The look is not going to be clean in New York because the line sucks.
Yeah, on a different team, it might make a little bit more sense, but he's trying. I feel like he's got that gunslinger mentality.
He's playing hero
He's got
ball.
the moxie, and yeah, he's trying to put the team on his back, which he did a lot of at BYU, and it just doesn't translate to the NFL unless you have some talent around you, or you are that elite talent, like we'll say a Mahomes or something like that. And even then,
he's not
it's
that
not going
guy.
to do that. No, he's not.
Everybody talked about how his arm was live. It was just, he can do so many things.
I mean, Robert Saleh called him an electric dude, but he said that he needs to be okay with being boring.
He does not have the type of arm of a Josh Allen, of a Pat Mahomes, of an Aaron Rodgers. Honestly, he doesn't have a good arm as fucking Baker does, because Baker can goddamn sling it a long ways. He has a ton of RPMs and velocity behind his ball. Now, Baker has also done some stupid things, but what we're seeing, these stupid things from Zach are not the same kinds of stupid things we typically see from a rookie quarterback. Those guys are conservative, and he's letting it rip with no regard for ball placement, timing, concept, none of it. He thinks he's just going to go out there and play hero ball, and he's going to fucking fail doing it.
Yeah, it seems like the coaching staff has not done a good job of getting him reined in to be They need to be starting him off with like a smaller playbook and putting him on a leash.
Now, I'm not saying Zach's not a smart guy. He could probably handle a lot of the playbook, but processing all of that and then making the late throws with the superior talent that he has, it's a recipe for fucking disaster. And this is a story as old as time. The Jets fucking suck, and they can't find a quarterback.
Yeah, it's I don't really know where they go from here. I mean, obviously he has to have time to develop and everything, but you're going to start very quickly getting into that realm of negative impact cementing into his head.
You're going to create
He's going to
doubt.
learn to be a loser rather than someone who's got some potential.
Yeah. And listen, we've seen guys leave that Jets organization and have success. Sam Darnold's balling out right now. He's playing really well. Now, maybe what the Jets should do is bring in Adam Gase for the rest of the year, so Adam Gase can fuck him up a little bit more, and then fire Adam Gase as the offensive coordinator so he gets better. Because every time Adam Gase gets fired, the team does better.
I don't wish ill upon the kid right now.
I'm not wishing ill. I'm not wishing ill, but God, I was getting a lot of hate pre-draft. I got some.
Yeah, you were.
Preseason.
I think that he's got a lot of talent. I think he is that electric kid with a lot of moxie. It was going to be a tough transition to the NFL in general. It's almost like a death sentence going to the Jets.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a worse place.
rough.
The only worst place that you could have gone, other than the Jets, was pre-Baker Mayfield Cleveland Browns.
I was about to say the Browns of the last couple decades.
Yeah. That was the only worst place you could go to be a quarterback, was the Browns pre-Baker Mayfield. And then you get the Jets. And he's fallen right into it. It sucks for the kid, but like,
So
I
you
fucking
think
called
Denver is going to just sweep them?
oh, I think Denver.
The line is
going
Denver
to
minus
fucking-
10.5.
So
The note I have is Denver should cover.
should cover? Question mark. Yeah, they absolutely should.
They should.
Teddy Two Gloves playing very well.
It's in Denver, higher altitude. We'll see if that changes things for
People
Wilson.
make a big deal about that. These guys are professional athletes.
They should. You do see some guys get winded.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think it has anything to do with the altitude. I don't think it has
shouldn't
anything
be the
to do with
narrative
playing
of the
away.
game.
I think it all comes down to, can Zach step his game up? If you are late against that Denver Broncos secondary, they are absolutely going to make you pay. Whether it's Von Miller, Bradley Chubb is now out on the IR, but their safeties, fantastic. Corners, amazing. They just lost one, but the rookie comes in, plays great. If he is late, they are going to get slaughtered. I have seen absolutely nothing that tells me that's going to change.
I bet you see a heavily neutered Zach Wilson this game. That Robert Saleh being a defensive-minded guy, he's going to know what the Broncos are bringing defensively, and he's going to tell the guy, hey, don't make any stupid throws. We're going to run the ball a lot.
So we're seeing
And it could be a low-scoring game. And
he's
when I
going to
say
throw
low-scoring
24
game,
passes, complete 16 of them for $160.
maybe. Yeah, something like that. But, I mean, the Jets have averaged 10 points a game this year. Only 2 weeks, but still the offense is not rolling, and they're going against a very tough defense.
Yeah.
The offense for the Broncos has been steady, albeit not, explosive or anything.
But they don't need to be over there right now.
No, they can play a steady, solid game and just continue to slowly chunk away, put points on the board, and the Jets aren't going to be able to compete without a passing game.
I got Broncos, and I have them covering. They're going to win by 11
Like I
or
said,
more.
I got Denver, and they should cover, but I don't know. This has just been a weird
I have
season.
a bet on every spread because I'm doing that 16-team parlay. So I got Broncos in covering. I'm telling you, if I can get these things rolling, if we get to Sunday night and I have hit 14 of 16 games, there's a high possibility that I'm going to cash out because I am not going to risk that amount of money on 2 last games.
No, I feel you. All right, so that's our picks, Denver. Moving on, Miami versus the Raiders in Las Vegas. Miami doesn't have Tua. He's on the IR. The Raiders have been rolling. I've got the Raiders winning and covering their
4.5 is what the spread is.
3.5.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
3.5 right
I got
now.
in too early.
Yeah, so look,
How did it go
I think the
down
Raiders
with
are
Tua out?
I don't know. But look, I think the Raiders have played well this year. I think Derek Carr is playing pretty well. I also think that, the Ravens are obviously tough. Their secondary is beat up some. Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I don't think Pittsburgh is as good as they've been showing. And even then, Raiders still beat them. I think the Raiders are an average, somewhat above average team. But at this point, Miami is going to be a rough go for the next couple weeks for them. So I have them covering, no problem here, especially in Vegas.
Yeah, I got the Raiders and the cover. No Tua, no Dolphins offense. We talked about Jacoby Brissett earlier. I don't know if Jacoby can get it done. I like Jacoby. He's a quality backup. He's a top-tier backup, probably top 5 of all the backup quarterbacks in the league. He's been a starter, won games. But the Raiders are showing me something that I did not expect. They were a fringe playoff team last year. That defense has gotten drastically better. Now you're playing against a backup quarterback. And Derek Carr is playing like the Derek Carr before he broke his leg. So I got the Raiders, and I got them covering. I got 4.5. The new line is 3.5, you said?
Yep.
So, yeah, I got Raiders.
Alrighty. Next. This could be our Super Bowl matchup, potentially. Bucks and Rams in LA.
NFC Championship game.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
But I think this is the time that the Rams actually put together a full game. Because they have not done that yet.
They have, like, they've got so much talent.
Yeah.
I don't know how they haven't been blowing people out. It's weird. It's another one of those situations where I feel like they're playing to their opponent. Because it doesn't seem like they're firing on all cylinders.
Right.
Right now the line is Bucks -1.5. And I think this is probably going to be a pretty close game because I feel like the Rams have been playing down to their opponents, but I would like to see the Rams take a W in this one.
Yeah, so I have the Rams with the points +1.5. So, I mean, if they lose, they could lose by a point. But I think the Rams actually pull this out. In the new stadium, SoFi Stadium, against the defending Super Bowl champions, I think they get really hyped for this game. I think Stafford wants to show that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He is often thrown for those stats, but he's been on a team where he has not got that recognition. I like the Rams' defense matching up against the Bucks, especially because the Bucks just lost Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
So
on the COVID list, he didn't travel with the team, so he's out this week. They still have a ton of receiving options though, so it doesn't limit them too much.
But you take away one weapon that helps that Rams team line up a little easier.
Yeah. This should be a really fun game to watch because these are two, playoff bound teams stacked full of talent.
Yep.
And yeah, I expect it to be super close. I have the Rams eking this one out, but really it's a coin flip for me. Either one of these teams could win, and I lean more towards parity, and I lean more towards the home team. And so that's why I've got LA eking this one out.
Yeah, if this game is played in Tampa, I take the Bucks. With this game being played in LA, I'm going Rams.
And I mean, look, the Cowboys gave the Bucks a run for their money.
They did.
And the Cowboys are just an offensive team. Their defense is not good.
No.
And comparing the Cowboys offense versus the Rams offense, I think that the the Cowboys might have a better receiving threat, but the running game for the Rams is a little bit better, and the drop off isn't that crazy.
Which is weird because we're talking about a backfield with Zeke and Tony Pollard, and we're taking Henderson,
yeah.
And
but I think they set up stuff better in LA. Sean McVay's scheme there is a little bit more.
And I think that's where it comes down to. It's I trust Sean McVay more than I trust Mike McCarthy and his offense.
Yeah,
I think the Rams can pull this out. That is the one game I'm very nervous about on my parlays, on all these bets. But I'm sticking with it. Now I have another technical upset pick, but that's the one that's like, I don't know. It could go fucking anyway.
Like I said, coin flip, but it sounds like both of us are taking the Rams on this one. All right, moving on. Green Bay and 49ers in San Francisco. So my notes here is fuck Green Bay, and Trey Sermon's starting for the 49ers.
He is.
All right. So Elijah Mitchell, I believe, last was listed as doubtful.
Yep. They got one other guy who is a late-round pick and an undrafted free agent in the backfield.
They have, and I'm going to forget the guy's name, but Ravens running back who played in the first game for the Ravens, and then he was one of those practice squad upgrades, and the 49ers snatched him right away the next week. So, but he was meant to be a practice squad guy. He wasn't making the roster for the Ravens, and then the Ravens, lost multiple backs and had to bring in all these old vets. So He's not really going to be too much of a factor. Then again, it's Shanahan. You never really can know. But I'm excited to see Trey Sermon get a full workload here. It was disappointing. He got one rush last week and then went out with a concussion. So that was disappointing. But I think Trey Sermon is the most talented back that the 49ers have, that he could be a lead back for that team. Now, don't get me wrong. Elijah Mitchell has looked pretty damn good. All right. So Elijah Mitchell healthy and Trey Sermon healthy, that's probably going to be more of a 50-50 split. But this is Trey Sermon's chance to show that he is meant to be a starting back in the league. And hopefully he takes the reins at this point, because that'll help me fantasy-wise. But as far as the game overall, I've got San Francisco winning this game. All right. The Packers, obviously, we've talked ad nauseum about week 1 for them and how they just looked like garbage. Now, last week, they did win versus the Lions, but I believe at halftime the Lions were winning, or it was tied.
Yep.
Either way, it was close. The Packers have played 6 quarters of bad football to start off the season. They did not look good. Now, the Lions aren't a very good team. They've duked it out with some people. They're scrappy, and I want to lean on that being the Dan Campbell mentality for his team.
Agreed.
But at the end of the day, they just kept running Aaron Jones, the Packers did, and they were able to come out victorious. They looked a little bit more like normal Packers football in those last 2 quarters. I'm still not sold that they are the Packers team of old. I think that there's still this hangover from the offseason, that things are not gelling. There's dissent within the team, whether it be from Devontae Adams or Aaron Rodgers. I got the 49ers winning this one. I don't feel great about it, because I know what Packers teams have been in the past, and I'm not truly fully able to commit yet that they're not the same team, but my heart's telling me they're not the same team. And I wrote down fuck Green Bay, so I got the 49ers in this one, playing in California. So hopefully they win this one, because I'm all about the Packers being 1-2.
I'm going the opposite way. So 2 years ago, Packers got absolutely demolished by the Niners in the playoffs. Could not stop the run. That was their big fucking downfall. They don't have the same type of running backs that they did at that time.
The Niners.
The Niners don't.
Right.
Now, I like Trey Sermon. I drafted Trey Sermon in one of my fantasy leagues. I expect him to have a decent showing, but I think the Packers remember that everybody talked about the 49ers ran for over 150 yards before contact. I think that plays a factor. I think that you have 2 very smart, young, offensive-minded coaches. So what does this come down to? Comes down to the quarterback. Comes down to Aaron Rodgers versus Jimmy Garoppolo / Trey Lance for a couple of plays. And I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers on a massive fuck you to the media. I don't know if you caught his last press conference when he was speaking and a media member tried to interrupt him and he shut them the fuck down and then kind of backtracked because he didn't want to be a dick, even though he kind of looked like a dick. Because he's fucking Aaron Rodgers, he always kind of looks like a dick.
He is a dick.
Yeah. And that's okay. I think that helps him. I think we talk about guys with moxie. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the king of fucking moxie. He is that guy. If you give me Aaron Rodgers on a fuck you to anybody, give me Aaron Rodgers. I got the Packers winning, and I have them +3. So if they lose, that would suck.
For your parlay. Right.
For my parlay.
Yeah.
But that's not my good parlay. I need them to at least cover. Because I put in a 16-team parlay money line for total wins $9,000. I also put on a 16-team parlay against the spread. That wins me $612,000 if it hits. So if they don't win, fine. But I think they at least cover because Aaron Rodgers is on a mission after week 1 to tell everybody to RELAX and STFU. Shut the fuck up. That shit's happening.
Well, so I still don't think that he's, even in those last 2 quarters, he looked better, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt because he was playing the Lions, but he still hasn't looked like what he has been in the past. I was listening to Sirius NFL Radio, and they were doing an interview with him before the game, and he seemed so much happier talking about non-football stuff, about his time in Jeopardy and that sort of stuff. I don't know that his mind is in the game anymore. Like, he was so close to retiring.
I think that's Aaron fucking with the people. Aaron hates the media.
You know?
Absolutely despises those fucking people. Probably with the exception of Pat McAfee, who he does interview with every Tuesday. He hates the fucking rest of the media because everybody creates a narrative about Aaron, for Aaron, that Aaron has not said at all himself.
I mean, some of the stuff he said.
Some of it he has. Now, don't get me wrong, and I don't think Aaron's gone at those guys. But when Aaron hears these stories that nobody talked to Aaron, it's all pure speculation. He is a vindictive fuckface sometimes, man. Like, that's the way he is, and that's probably one of the reasons that you hate him. But that's what makes him so goddamn good sometimes. And I have that playing a factor in the Packers getting this win.
I mean, it definitely could. Like I said, I know what sort of team the Packers have been, what they could be, but I'm not sold on it yet. And like I said, my heart's telling me that the arrow is pointing down on them overall. I think a loss here would be very difficult for the team overall.
I agree. And a loss here, well, it depends on the kind of loss. If they lose on a last-second field goal, I think they're still okay. If they come out and they get their asses beat, this thing goes off the fucking rails and it goes quickly.
And that's the thing, is I don't think that it's going to be a last-second field goal. I know that right now the spread's 3. I think it's going to be a wider margin than that. One of the other 2 teams is going to win by a touchdown or more. That's where I'm seeing it. Either the Packers are hitting their stride and figuring stuff out from this hangover from the offseason, and then they're going to start picking it back up and become their old selves, or they
do you
played
have a lot of faith in that Niners team, though, based on the way they've played? Letting the Lions back in late, almost giving it up?
Not completely, no.
I
don't have faith in either of these teams.
So I trust the Niners defense. I don't trust Jimmy G. And if the Niners take their foot off the gas on defense, they're fucked. Like, Aaron will rip them apart.
I'm hoping for, like I said, a good day from Trey Sermon, and I'm hoping that Ayuk actually starts getting back in the mix. Because,
why
as
that
one of their
kid's not
biggest
getting touches is beyond me.
Yeah, he's like one of their biggest receiving threats, and they've basically kind of held him on the sidelines and not used him very much. So once he actually gets involved and back in the game, that's going to make a big difference for their offense. And maybe that's why it seems like they haven't really been doing a whole lot. Is that one of their main options is not out there pulling extra coverage and stuff like that. So we'll see. I got the Niners in this one. I know that that's a rough pick, even though they are favored to win right now. But fuck Green Bay.
Yeah, I know. That would not be a surprise to hear that every goddamn week.
Yep. So do we want to go into the Sunday night game, or do you want to go for our teams first?
Let's go. Do you want to go? That was a Sunday night game. Packers, Niners. Do you want to go Monday
Eagles,
night?
Cowboys. Oh, that's right.
no.
That's right. That's Monday night.
Let's go Monday night, and then we'll cover our teams.
Alrighty. So Eagles, Cowboys, Monday night game. It is in Dallas, and I think that the Eagles have looked fairly good so far, but they haven't looked
2-0, right?
special. Yeah, they've eked out, a win, and they lost last week, I believe, to the 49ers.
Did they play? Oh yeah, they did play Niners. So they're 1-1.
Yeah. So I think Dallas and that offense that Dallas has exposed the Eagles in this game. This is the strongest offense that they've faced. I think Dallas well outpaces them and Jalen Hurts and what he can do. This is obviously a rivalry game, so it's a big deal. I actually think Zeke actually shows up a little bit more this game.
I don't.
No?
No.
Do you not trust the Eagles defense?
I don't trust the Eagles defense. I have more faith in Jalen Hurts than I did at the start of the season. I have the Cowboys winning, but it ain't gonna be on the back of Zeke. It's gonna be Dak tearing up that secondary, and Tony Pollard is gonna take over that backfield.
I'll agree with you there. That I don't know if it's this game, but Tony Pollard, I think that he's just showing up as the better running back right now between the two. There's a noticeable difference.
Zeke's gonna get cut after the year.
Really?
I think so, man.
And his contract.
He is not. He is not. Well, I don't know how much dead money he has, but he's a running back, so it ain't that much guaranteed. You cannot continue to pay Zeke at the level that you're paying Zeke, and have his backup continue to outperform him.
Well, they can not have his backup outperform by not giving him the ball.
Yeah, but you play your best fucking players.
You should. It's Mike McCarthy. I don't trust him.
You absolutely should, and the Bears are finally going to do that this week. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, they're going to have their best quarterback starting.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We'll get to that in a second. No, yeah, it's the Browns game, though. So.
Oh, right.
I get the Cowboys. I have the Cowboys money line, and I have them covering.
Yeah, I got them covering.
It spreads -3.5. Now, the Eagles have been far better than I thought. The Cowboys are better than I thought, though. They were very close to Tampa. They beat a very good Chargers team that we think is potential playoff team, right?
Yep.
The Eagles are not a playoff team. I think the Cowboys come out and they put on a statement and they say, hey, listen, we are better than everybody's giving us credit for. I hate saying it because Mike McCarthy is going to look better than the coach that he is, because I do not trust Mike McCarthy at fucking all. But they have a ton of weapons on offense. Is that defense going to be able to hold up against Jalen Hurts? Maybe. But if it comes to a shootout, I got the Cowboys winning by 7 on a late touchdown, or they get that late touchdown, they're up by 4, they cover that 3.5.
That's for me. It's the Eagles' offense. Is Jalen Hurts. I didn't give him enough credit at the beginning of the year. I liked him coming out, but I didn't know if he was ever really going to become like a true-fledged starting quarterback in the league. He's shown to be better. They've got Devonta Smith, but then like their running backs don't inspire me. Miles Sanders doesn't inspire me.
Not at all.
Their other receivers don't really inspire me. Jalen Reagor is kind of he's not done a whole lot. Obviously, last year he was hurt.
He should be like a gadgety guy, in my opinion. He's not a line up outside and win a one-on-one matchup.
And then they've got some talented tight ends and everything, but the Eagles' offense just doesn't wow me. I don't think that they're going to be able to keep up offensively, and that's the main thing. So that's why I've got the Cowboys kind of exposing the Eagles as they're not going to be able to go punch for punch with some of these strong offensive teams.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And then that Cowboys offense is explosive. It can be explosive with the passing game. And then if you find a way to get Zeke going, this game is over early. If not, Tony Pollard is a guy that will absolutely close it.
I think Zeke, the reason why I think Zeke is going to have a better game is because I think he's at this point where people are talking about him like this. I mean, they've been talking about him like this, but I think he kind of wants to put a signature game out there where he's kind of like, no, I'm still a good running back, and try to do some more.
He's going to have to if he wants to keep on that fucking team and maintain that contract.
Definitely. But, yep, so Cowboys and covering for both Mike and I on this one. So jumping back earlier in the day, we have the Cleveland Browns playing the Chicago Bears in Cleveland. All right. What are your thoughts on this game, Mike?
I got the Browns winning. I have Browns covering. And it should be a really good defensive showing. Now, I like Justin Fields. We've talked about Justin Fields. I think that he has the potential to be the best quarterback in this draft. But your first start against a team who has Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney on the edges is going to be tough. Those two guys have not played up to their contracts or to their potential at this point. However, Myles Garrett has come out and said a lot of things this week about how, if I'm getting doubled, if I'm getting chipped, I need a teammate to fucking step up. That were essentially his words. Probably didn't throw the fucking in there. I think that's going to motivate the other guys on that defense. Justin Fields has talent, but so does that Browns defense, and they have not shown it yet. That is starting to worry me a little bit about that Browns defense. Ton of talent. You got to show it on tape, though. I think this is the week that they get right against a rookie quarterback. And I think Baker, coming off the shoulder injury on the left shoulder, is going to have a great game. There are still people talking all sorts of shit about Baker. Leads the league in completion percentage. He's thrown a couple picks. The last one wasn't his fault. The rookie stopped on his route. Baker is going to want to put on a good performance at home. Everybody in that stadium probably is going to love Justin Fields. Browns fans are also Ohio State fans. I have a special place in my heart for Justin Fields. But I got the Browns, and I got them covering because we should cover.
So I've got the Browns as well. I don't have them covering, actually. The line was 7.5 for the Browns when I checked. I don't like those. Like, if it was less than 7 or something like that, I probably would be sitting with it. But more than a touchdown, it's tough for me to jump on board with that, especially after last week. And Houston, I think the Bears, I don't think they're a great team. I think they're better than Houston. And then if we're going tit for tat with quarterback, I like Justin Fields over Tyrod and Davis Mills.
Yeah.
And I watched some of Fields last week. He played a decent amount in that game. Now, first games starting for rookie quarterbacks are usually rough traditionally. Yeah. But he kind of, I think, got some of those potential first game jitters out because he played a little bit in week 1 and got a touchdown, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then played plenty last week. Now, he did
not look great. Looked average.
There were some flashes. So
yes.
Stat line wasn't necessarily spectacular, and he made some mistakes for sure. But there were also some plays where I was like, this guy's got some really fucking good talent when I was watching him play last week. So now with a week of preparation, knowing that Dalton's out, knowing that this is his chance, I think that he's going to do better than some people might expect for a rookie quarterback. Like I said, I've got the Browns winning this game. They absolutely should win this game. Way more talented team, top to bottom. Like we keep on saying, Browns, top to bottom, are one of the most talented teams in the NFL.
They might be the best, if not, they're not less than third most talented team. Maybe the Bucs are more talented. Maybe the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are.
But it's the narrative that I keep on saying through this podcast this week is it seems like some of these teams are playing to their opponent.
Yeah.
The Browns played right up to their opponent with the Chiefs, and it was a mistake or two that cost them the game. Then they play Houston, a much less superior team, and they played down to them. Yeah. All right? They should have really blown them out. So that Houston game has me a little bit scared, thinking like these guys aren't going to put up the numbers that they should be against teams that aren't up to their caliber, which the Bears are not up to their caliber. So that's why I feel like this could be closer than you would want to see from this game. And that's why I don't have them covering.
Okay.
But I do have Cleveland winning. I'm hoping to see some good stuff out of Fields. I'm expecting to see some rough patches because, again, rookie quarterback going against a very good defense.
Should be a very good defense based on the talent.
Mm-hmm. But that's
that
Browns
defense,
should absolutely win.
The offense has played up to their potential this year. Absolutely in Cleveland. They have, I don't think they're 31 and then 35.
And you don't think Jarvis being out is going to be an issue?
I think that we have guys that can replace Jarvis. Now, I love Jarvis. He is the emotional leader of that team. But we have guys that can do the things that Jarvis can do. Maybe not quite to the high level, but we have a slot guy. We have a move the sticks guy. We have a possession guy. What we don't have, or what we haven't had, it really is a take the top off, got a double guy. We fucking got one this week because OBJ is back. OBJ is back this week. I'm excited. Now, people are going to make comments about, well, Baker was better without OBJ. Yeah, but Baker got better all throughout the year in the new system. It wasn't because OBJ went out, in my opinion. It was because he started to learn, understand, and evolve in the system. If OBJ can be a member of the system and not a diva wide receiver, he is going to be electric this week. I got OBJ scoring a tutty. And I got him scoring one early. I just hope Baker doesn't force it to him like he tried to do early in their career together. And
That's
Baker,
what I feel
Baker
like.
admitted as such that he tried to force him the ball.
I've liked the Browns with Jarvis more than I've liked the Browns with OBJ on the field. And it's not just because of the production stuff, but I feel like he does garner so much of that attention from Baker. And like I said, Baker's mentioned that. But I feel like the team, when I saw them playing with OBJ, I felt like they clicked better without him on offense.
And they
but we
did.
haven't really seen OBJ in this offense a whole lot.
No, we saw him for 3 games last year in this offense, and Baker was not great in those beginning games to any receiver. And then as he became more comfortable, things started to they started to go. He had a command of the offense. Now with the command of the offense that he has and inserting a playmaker like OBJ, I think it goes a long way. I'm very excited to see OBJ back out there. I just hope it goes the positive, and we're not talking about this narrative next week that the Browns' offense is better without OBJ.
Now, have we really seen them with OBJ and without Jarvis under this new system? I don't think we have.
We have not. They've
so,
always been together.
Yeah. So it'll be an interesting storyline to watch during this game. Something I'm definitely going to be watching.
I still think the tight ends are going to play a huge factor. I think Rashard Higgins has a ton of catches because he's going to take that Jarvis Landry role. We could see.
I would love to see Austin Hooper do some for my fantasy team.
Yeah. I mean, Hooper's made some catches, but he's not getting in the end zone.
Yeah, he's been solid for my fantasy team. He's putting up numbers I expect from a tight end.
Yeah, he's getting 4 catches a game for about 40 yards.
Yeah.
So-
That 8 to 10 point
Yeah.
range is what I'm looking for.
That's where he should
for
be.
a middle of the pack tight end. So that's good for me. All right, moving on. Unless you have any other comments about your Brownies.
Fucking go Browns.
Alrighty. Well, so afternoon game, Minnesota Vikings versus the Seahawks in Minnesota. So it feels like the Seahawks are a 5th team in the NFC North because we play them every year, except for we play them every year in Seattle.
Yeah,
All right,
you
which
guys
is a tough place to play in general. This is a tough opponent for us. We always seem to have a little bit of a rivalry type thing going on with them. So Minnesota, tough game last week.
Yeah.
All right.
Very tough.
Way, way, way more cleaned up than our week 1 game against the Bengals. I was proud of the way that my team played, and it came down to, not one team or one play isn't usually going to make a game. And when it comes to kickers, sometimes that can be the case. But obviously, we could have put up just more offensive points in general and beat the Cardinals. I don't want to lay it all at defeated Greg Joseph, though it's pretty disappointing overall for me.
Yeah. One play doesn't typically lose you a game.
Yeah.
In this situation, it was 2 plays, and they were both by Greg Joseph.
Yeah. But for this game, I do have the Vikings winning. I'm not down on my team, but I'm pessimistic overall. And it's tough because I'm so used to the Seahawks of old. I know what Russell Wilson can do. I know how we've been matched up against them where it looks like we should be the winning team, and then we will not play up to our potential against them for whatever reason. The situation surrounding this game has me leaning more towards Minnesota winning. It's our home opener. Having fans back in our stadium is going to be big for the team. We're getting guys back like Everson. He's going to be playing again, which is going to help our pass rush. But this goes a little bit into one of the mailbag questions that we're going to have, but we can't go 0-3. We definitely can't go 0-4 and Zimmer knows this because he's on the hot seat. Mm-hmm. If we go 0-3, the there's already talks about whether or not we should be looking at cutting him. And every time that those conversations comes up, Zimmer starts to turn things around. Mm-hmm. There's talks about us firing him before, and then we go and we win a playoff game or something like that. We can't afford to lose this game, or else we're going to lose the season, in my opinion.
I agree, man. Like, if you guys drop to 0-3, you are going to be looking. I don't think Zimmer gets fired mid-season, but he's gone at the end of the season. Because if you guys go 0-3, you're not recovering from that.
Yeah, it's look, if there's a potential for us to get in the playoffs, it's good to be in the NFC North right now because all the teams are kind of wishy-washy with their records. Mm-hmm. And obviously playing against the Cardinals and how good that they played and have it come down towards the end like that, shows that this team has some swag in them, some moxie, that they are a decent team. I mean, the offense was clicking for sure. The scary thing on our offense right now is Dalvin Cook. He's nursing an injury. He's questionable. He should play from all accounts. But that's like he's one of our biggest factors on offense. So if he's not able to go out there and play on Sunday, then I'm probably not leaning on the Vikings to win this one, honestly. But look, Seattle, like I said earlier, when they lost to Tennessee last week at home, I thought that game should have been much wider margin. The Seattle defense is really not that good. They are playing a lot of bear front, and they're doing things to try to cover up their cornerback play, but their cornerback play and overall pass defense is really abysmal. Jamal Adams is a awesome player, but he's that center fielder type, and he's much better in the run game than he is in the pass game.
He is.
And so bringing out Adam Thielen, bringing out Justin Jefferson, having our new wide receiver 3, KJ Osborne, who is leading the team in yards right now. He looked very good again.
Was it Conklin, right?
Conklin's our tight end.
Has not looked bad either.
Yeah, and our offense should not have a problem against this Seattle defense. It's the Seattle offense. That's where my question is. So I like Carson, Chris Carson, but he hasn't been anything too crazy yet this year. Russell is scary because of the way that he moves. Now he's shifted a little. Kyler Murray has always been compared to Russell Wilson because of their size and their mobility. Russell Wilson is, as his career moves along, he is not less mobile, but he is more prone to staying in the pocket and not running.
Of the ball.
Yeah. DK Metcalf and
Tyler Lockett.
Lockett, yeah, I always forget Lockett's name, and I always have him on my fantasy team. Not this year, but
you should. Dude. He's fucking killing it.
Yeah, they always are good. They always put up big numbers, and if we have a weakness on our defense, it's our pass defense. But our pass defense hasn't looked atrocious by any means. It's better than last year, and we still held it out with the Seahawks last year with an even worse pass defense. This is an impact game for us. We have to win it, and I think Zim's going to have everyone fired up, having this be our home opener. The spread right now is, I believe, Seattle -2. I've got the Vikings winning because we absolutely have to.
So I agree with like 90% of the things that you said. The Vikings playing at home, they have a very good run game. They should be able to eke out a win. But this is going to take us right into that mailbag question we have for later. I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith in Zimmer's defense. That Seattle offense is explosive. If DK or Tyler get loose, I don't know that the Vikings can keep up. Now, they did a great job against the Cardinals, but I think that is not their normal. I think they regress to their mean a little bit here, and they don't quite put up that many points. You guys have some explosive receivers, great running back. It's Kirk. Can Kirk go out duel Russell Wilson?
And I mean, he looked good last game too.
Did.
Kirk actually didn't look bad at all.
He did,
last
and
game.
he's been a very good statistical quarterback. I got Seattle. I have them covering because the spread that I got, -1.5. I think Seattle will eke this out. I think it will be close. I think your team hangs in again. But I think Seattle comes away with the win. And then we start talking about, is Zimmer the right guy losing these close games? Because the kicking game in Minnesota has been very tough for a while. You guys cut Dylan Carlson, who has been fucking bombing balls for the Raiders. Very fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joseph, right?
Greg Joseph is our current guy.
And has not performed very well at all.
So
that decision, on top of other things, is going to put Zimmer firmly in the hot seat.
Joseph has, it's weird with him. Like, obviously he missed that PAT and he missed that game-winning field goal. There was talks about when he
made
had
the
that
game-winning field goal, but they were offsides. Didn't it? Wasn't that a good? No, different game. Sorry.
Different one. But it looked like he thought he was going to get iced. Like, as soon as he kicked the ball, he looked over to look around and be like, you guys didn't ice me? And I thought that the Cardinals were going to ice him. I was kind of sitting there hoping, like, wait, maybe there's a timeout, maybe I missed it. And they didn't ice him. So it's not the right mindset for him to be in. He should just be going out there making every kick regardless of if he gets iced or not. But he also, in the Bengals game, in pressure situations with defenders walking alongside him, jaw-jacking and stuff like that, after he did get iced, he made his first kick and then he made his second kick to put us into overtime. So he's made some clutch moves, but he also has obviously fucked up some. Yeah. Now, I'll say this about that Vikings-Cardinals game, is there was still 41 or 42 seconds left on the clock, and we decided to let it run down and let him kick from where he was at, and we could have ran more plays to get him into a better position. I would have preferred to see that.
It goes on Zimmer again.
It goes on Zimmer. It goes on the offensive coordinator as well. We don't know who had the final overall say in whether or not to continue. It should be
fucking Zimmer.
It should be Zimmer.
He is the head coach.
It should be. But at the end of the day, that game happened. It is what it is, and hopefully we are able to put ourselves in a position where we're not having to rely on the kicker to win us our games too often. Because with our offense, I'd like to see us just be putting up way more points and putting us out of range of having to worry about the kicker. Now, you said Seattle's offense is explosive, and they definitely are. However, last week against the Titans don't have that great of a defensive backfield.
They do not.
Right? And they didn't just completely beat the brakes off of them. They did well, but they didn't beat the brakes off of them. And so that gives me hope that with our pass rush, that we have some solid aging vets in the back. My hope is that we'll be able to do better than the Titans did against Seattle's offense.
Your back end worries me, with the exception of Harrison.
Now, Xavier Woods had a decent game. He had that interception.
Yeah,
we
talked about that interception.
Patrick Peterson, so PFF shows his stats way worse than what some other analytics guys are showing from that game. The other analytics that I've seen have shown him only having given up 40 yards in the game. And Brashad Breeland has not looked good these first two games. Cam Dantzler was a third-round pick for us last year, and he's kind of been in Zimmer's doghouse. It sounds like he's going to get a lot more playing time this game because he only played 16 snaps last game, and he looked phenomenal during those 16 snaps, and Zimmer's probably going to be leaning more on him in this game. He's talked about it during the week. So hopefully that'll provide us a little bit of an uptick there. But, yeah, I got the Vikes winning. I hope that they are able to not allow Seattle to cover.
Yeah.
But I guess that kind of leads into that's our picks for a week, but it leads us to the mailbag questions, right?
Check the camera real quick.
All right.
Go ahead and open it up.
Cool. So, mailbag question from my buddy John back home. He said, I'm on record as not liking Zim. He is, in my opinion, overqualified as a defensive coordinator, but way underqualified as a head coach. He doesn't beat good teams. There's a linked tweet Says the link tweet is the one issue I have. The culture he tried to create led to the Vikings getting rid of a kicker that would be an absolute asset right now.
Which I
Is
referenced.
Zim a fake tough guy, and how much will the Vikings regret retaining him instead of Stefanski? I also wanted to keep Kevin and fire Zim. Looking forward to more content from you guys. Shocked to see Stan drinking whiskey last episode. I remember him as someone who liked rum drinks garnished with pineapple and dragon fruit. He's evolved very much faster than Zimmer's defense.
So I love the shot on the question at Evo on him drinking the rum drinks.
So I don't necessarily remember drinking too many drinks with pineapple and dragon fruit, but that sounds delightful. I wouldn't be opposed to it at all.
But what he asked in that question is exactly what I was referencing.
Mm-hmm.
Zim's decisions have been very interesting, I will say. In the moment, they may look right, but in hindsight, they were not.
So the kicker situation has been the bane of the Vikings' existence for a while. So going back to like Blair Walsh and the missed field goal in the playoffs versus the Seahawks, wide left from 33 yards out, it still stings. So Blair Walsh, obviously his career didn't turn out too great after that. He ended up going to the Seahawks and not really cutting it with them. After they let Steven Hauschka go, which I was pretty disappointed in the Seahawks for doing that because Hauschka was also a Vikings kicker for a little bit, but we had Ryan Longwell on the team, so we had to let him go. But I liked Hauschka a lot, and then the Seahawks let him go and took Blair Walsh instead after seeing how he fucked up that game. I don't understand it. Daniel Carlson was actually a draft pick of ours. We drafted him. He looked good, but he got into his head, it seemed like. And I think that we've had issues with our special teams coordinators. Mike Prefer, your guy now.
I fucking know the guy.
Yeah. Look, Daniel Carlson, again, like you said, in the moment, it seemed like the right thing because Daniel Carlson was missing a lot of kicks out of nowhere for us. It seemed like he got in his head. And that's one of those situations where is it worth keeping a guy and maybe like benching him and bringing another kicker in to let this kid's head get on straight, or do you let him go? How much of that was Zimmer? I don't know. That could have been GM Spielman.
I mean, you got to think
Zimmer
has a lot of control in that organization.
He does, and he's been very vocal. That's one of the things I like about Zimmer is that he's very vocal about when players are fucking up and when they're doing good. And when the kickers are fucking up, he will let you know. All right? He did talk about Joseph like that was a kick that he should have made, but that wasn't all on him in his last game.
And he fucking buried Carlson in the exact same situation prior to that.
He did.
Absolutely fucking buried him, but now he's sticking by Joseph. So where's the switch?
I think he's trying to turn a leaf on that, potentially. I mean, look, Zimmer's in his 60s. He's set in his ways with a lot of things. He's always been known as a coach that the players love, but he is hard. He is hard on his guys. He expects the best.
I'm
out of
okay
them.
with that.
So going back to the question here, look, I wish we had obviously kept Carlson at this point because of the way that he's playing. I liked him when we drafted him. He looked really good in the preseason, and then in those first couple weeks, he was just missing atrociously. So it's tough to stick with a guy like that. Of course, hindsight's 20/20 now,
Right.
but it is what it is.
So on the question, he asked, is Zim a fake tough guy? I don't know. I mean, I don't know Zim.
I don't think he's a fake tough guy. Like you watch the NFL films of him on the sideline as a defensive coordinator. He's up his guys' asses.
Yeah.
He's expecting the best out of him, but he's also he's that player's coach as well as the defensive minded guy that he's put up very, very stellar defenses throughout his career, up until last year, which I think last year the downfall
sucks because COVID and
there's COVID, but we had such a turnover in our
injuries
secondary,
yeah.
a huge turnover in our secondary. We went from having Xavier Woods, Trey Waynes, and Mac Alexander as our three starting cornerbacks who were making our defense top 10 every year as far as pass defense. And then because of contract situations and stuff like that, we have to let them go. And those guys were generally pointing down on their career. They were starting to get worse. So it was time to bring in youth. And I lay that at the foot of the GM a little bit more for not having brought in more options, more young guys to develop, because we had just kind of stuck and solidified with those defensive backs for a while. Now Mac Alexander's back. He's still kind of young. He's still doing all right. He's nothing spectacular, but he's solid. Zimmer is I don't disagree with the comment that he's overqualified as a defensive coordinator, underqualified as a head coach.
So that's what I was going to say is I don't think he's a fake tough guy, but he's a defensive-minded head coach. I think we might be starting to see where Zimmer's defense is being eclipsed by the things that are happening on NFL offenses.
It's possible.
He is an old-school guy. Like, we have seen a lot of defensive coaches have success, but that success does not typically last a long time in the NFL for these defensive head coaches, whether they don't evolve or they can't get their offense right. I think that may start to be an issue. And if Zim's defense can't evolve to slow a team down, you have to look directly at the head coach because he's a defensive guy. I like Zimmer. I like guys that are fucking hard-nosed and kind of pricks because, honestly, that's a little bit of the way I coach. And I'm fucking coaching 9-year-olds. I don't have a problem with that because you can be a hard-ass and a player's coach. I'm starting to worry that he's getting to that point where he's starting to fall a little bit behind the evolution of the game of new NFL offenses.
I think that's definitely a possibility, but I'm still leaning more towards it being personnel based.
Okay.
More than his coaching. I don't disagree. His schemes are a little bit more antiquated, but he has mixed in some newer things. Like this year, we've started to mix in some 3-man fronts because we have huge defensive linemen in Michael Pierce and Dalvin Tomlinson.
I mean, you guys got fucking 3 nose tackles playing fucking a 1 and a 3 technique.
Yeah. Like we're doing different
anywhere.
things. He is trying some different stuff that we've never seen from him in his career. But when we brought Zimmer in, we kept on bringing in defensive talent, especially through the draft. And Daniil Hunter and stuff like that. You know, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr. We've developed that defense. And then in the past 2 or 3 years, our focus has shifted heavily towards the offense.
Well, that's because the offense was slagging behind.
Yeah, and so for years, the defense was really good. And now that the focus has shifted towards the offense is getting a lot better. And that's caused the defense to lag behind. They haven't found that balance. Zimmer definitely has a big say in what goes on, but it also goes to Rick Spielman, the GM, and how he builds that team because he has the final say.
He does have the final
at the end
say.
of the day. And I like Spielman too. I feel like he's hit well on a lot of his draft picks.
I mean, Justin Jefferson was a fucking home run. But the corners you guys drafted were not home runs. I mean, you said, was it Breland? Or what's his name?
We didn't draft Breland. Breland's been around the league for like 8 or 9 years.
Okay. Who was the rookie that you mentioned? The third rounder last year.
Cam
right?
Dantzler.
Dantzler.
Yep. And Dantzler was our best cornerback on the team last
Yeah,
year.
but he was the second cornerback drafted.
He
correct?
was the second cornerback. And our first cornerback obviously is no longer on the team or in the league because of legal issues.
Yeah, but even when he was in the league, he wasn't performing.
He wasn't playing that great, and he was injured. And you can't hit on every single draft pick.
No. I don't expect you to. But
it is what it is.
If you're gonna get picks right, you got to get 1 through 3 pretty fucking close. They have to at least be contributors for their rookie contracts.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And so I don't listen. I'm not gonna bury Zimmer. I like Zimmer. I like the way he coaches. I like the style. I'm just worried he's falling behind. Now, when it comes to Stefanski,
yeah. Now
you guys
I think
made
we're probably all in agreement on this.
Giant fucking error in keeping Zim and letting Stefanski go, because I can promise you, everybody in Cleveland, including the women, are fucking gushing over Stefanski.
So,
me, because we're winning football games. The women, because that is a good fucking looking man.
I like Stefanski a lot. He's a homegrown talent for us. He started off at the lowest level in the organization.
And worked his way
up
all the way to offensive coordinator. Now, he was a co-offensive coordinator, but...
Yeah, well, at one point, he was calling all the offense for us. He has coached every position group on the offense. He's been under numerous different offensive coordinators, from John DeFilippo
Who
to
sucks, but
he does to Norv Turner. He's even been there, I believe, all the way back to like the Mike Tice era, which Mike Tice wasn't a great head coach, but he was a really good offensive line coach. And so he's picking up things from all sorts of different coaches, and he's able to take the good from them and leave out the bad and be able to build himself as a coach and build himself as a good offensive-minded
Coach of the Year last year. And the
Coach.
way that man calls a game is fucking poetry. He is top 3 play caller in the NFL. Now, granted, I have a little bit of a homer opinion, but McVay, excellent play caller. Shanahan, excellent play caller. And then give me Stefanski. Now, do they always produce? No, but the way they work their offense, the way they set things up, the action that they give, how one play looks like the next play, that looks like the next play, that comes from that wide zone, West Coast, Shanahan, Turner offense. Like that is their fucking bread and butter. And these guys do it to such a high level, those 3 guys, and Stefanski is right there in terms of play calling. And he's still ascending because he is
one year
guy.
with as an offensive coordinator or calling those plays, and then immediately to head coach.
Yeah, he is a wizard when it comes to calling an offensive game. It's unbelievable to see. Any Cleveland fans out there, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. You saw Freddie Kitchens call a draw play on 4th and 14, and then we go to a guy like Stefanski that just has so many different things. He mixes in different concepts. The defense never fucking knows what's coming at him. If you guys were going to make a switch, it should have been the time when Stefanski was going out for head coaching positions.
There was that conversation brought up a lot. Now, it would have been very difficult for the Vikings to fire Zimmer in the year that Stefanski ended up going to you guys, because we did end up going to the playoffs. Of course, I mean, we lost in the playoffs. We didn't see him in the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you guys won with a push-off by your tight end, but...
Debatable. The refs didn't call it.
Agreed.
Right. But regardless, like, I don't disagree. If there's one coach that I would rather have right now, it would be Stefanski.
Yeah, he's the man. Fucking love him. I would take a bullet for Stefanski right now.
When I got asked during that time frame, what do you want? Do you want to fire Zimmer and keep Stefanski as your head coach, or do you want to let Stefanski leave? I said I want to keep Zimmer. I trust Zimmer. I love Zimmer. And look,
hindsight's a motherfucker, though.
It is. And Stefanski's done amazing. And I wish that there was some way that we could have retained him. Like, if Zimmer had retired that year, I would have been bummed that he retired. But if that meant us keeping Stefanski, I would have been okay with it. I just was not in that headspace of wanting to fire Zim. He's been my favorite head coach on the team since I've been a fan. I'm a big Zimmer fan, and every other year we end up going to the playoffs. He's always kept us competitive. It was really weird. It could be, and I mean, it's still early in the season.
Now, who do you guys got next week?
Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It'll be a good game.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys should know what we're doing on offense. You'd think.
Hopefully.
You won't, but.
But yeah, look, my biggest fear is that, and I have come around on it some, that obviously if we have a bad year this year, then we probably should make a switch. It probably will also mean that we're going to make a GM switch. Like I said, there's.
I think you have to, like, whenever you make a head coaching switch or a GM switch, it's almost you have to do them together, because you have to marry up one side of the house to the other side of the house and make them work cohesively.
Yeah.
That's why I was so nice when we brought in Andrew Barry. Andrew Barry was a huge Stefanski guy. They were married together in the same year, both very analytical, that it works. Now, when you fire a head coach and you bring a new guy in, the GM is going to be involved in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. He should have a part of, but if that head coach doesn't work out, the onus now falls on the GM as part of that process. if you fire a GM and you don't fire the head coach, GM comes in, and even if you have a decent year, there's always going to be some tension. It's not his guy.
Yeah.
So
that's the other
when
thing
they
is that
do they separate, like, oh, we're firing the GM, but we're keeping the head coach because they played well for the coach, but the GM did a bad job. It's like, no, that is a group fucking effort. If you're not working collaboratively in those two positions,
they should absolutely be linked. Absolutely should be linked. And that's the thing is that I know that if Zimmer goes this year, that means that Spielman is going to go too. And while I have my gripes against Zimmer and I have my gripes against Spielman, I still like both of them, and I like what they have done with this team and how they've built the team over the years.
I would take
the past,
that
8 years.
combination over probably 10 other fucking NFL teams' coagulation of whatever the fuck they got going, whether it's GM or coach. But you have to, like, it can't be one.
And so that's the thing that I was going to get at, is it kind of bums me, is that it seems like we're a year or two late on some of these decisions or on some of these personnel moves that could have been really good for the teams. Like Stefanski, if we let Zimmer go after this year, we'll be 2 years removed from him leaving. George Patton was the assistant GM to Spielman, and now he's the GM for the Broncos. Yep. That's the guy that I would have wanted to take over for Spielman. Now, if Zimmer had just, like, retired or something like that, or if he had been fired, I don't know if Spielman would have been fired if Zimmer was fired back then, even though, like you just talked about, it probably would have been a good idea, and then it would have made sense for Stefanski to move in head coach, Patton to move in as the GM. Yep. And that would have been probably the perfect scenario. It's too late for that now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's
neither one of those guys are leaving their positions.
That's my fear now, is that if
you're gonna get some sort of a recycled asshole from New England.
I hope not.
I mean, it fucking comes up every year.
The Wilf family loves New England's how they've been over the past decade.
It fucking comes up every year. I don't know why people keep doing it. Because it has never worked.
Who's our head coach going to be? That's the question that I keep asking.
McDaniels?
And I don't know. No, I don't want that.
No, nobody wants that. Well, actually, a lot of people want that, but why, I don't fucking know, because he quit on the Broncos.
I just don't know who out there.
He quit on the Broncos. Now, granted, he made it through the whole season, but he quit on the Broncos. I promise you that he quit on the Broncos. He was not giving his full effort. Immediately gets fired, goes right back to New England, gets the fucking head coaching job with the Colts. Doesn't even make the fucking flight. And then they hire Frank Wright to take his spot because he's a piece of shit. His name is going to come up all the time. And with the Vikings liking that format, it could be McDaniels. And if that happens, I'm sorry, you guys are fucked, because he's another bullshit recycle head coach out of the New England role, because those guys don't fucking work. There's only one person who makes the Patriot way work, and it's Bill Belichick, because Bill Belichick is a goddamn genius. All those other people are really good at their jobs because Bill Belichick is a genius.
No.
What candidates are out there? Like, you going to go college?
I don't know. And I don't like the idea of pulling in a college guy necessarily either. That's the thing, is that I don't know. Like, I would rather stick with Zimmer than go with the unknown right now, which I don't know who's out there. I have to do my research to see who could even possibly be available. But for me, if we lose this game, the talks are going to heat up tremendously. If we go 0-4, that's pretty much it. Now, I don't think they'll fire him midseason. I don't think that they'll do that, because long-term that doesn't bode well for the team.
No, it never does.
For the rest of the season.
Never fire a head coach midseason. It never fucking works.
Yeah, I don't like those firings. Yeah, it lets you get a jump start on the coaching search for the next season or whatever.
Position's open,
but look, if we go 0-4, the chances of us making the playoffs are slim to none, and that means that we can start looking for a coach anyways before that and have something figured out when they end up releasing him or firing him at the end of the regular season.
Well, I never have been a fan of the midseason firing, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't help the team. It decreases continuity. You get new systems coming in, and people want to change shit, and then it's even more of a mess. And then you still get a whole nother fucking guy.
It'll be a problem.
So that means they're going through your players are going through 3 different systems inside of 12 fucking months. It never makes sense to me why the fuck you fire a guy.
We don't even have a guy.
If you don't like him, if he's not your guy, as soon as the league year ends, he's gone. There's a fucking new coach. You're already on the hunt. As soon as that league year ends, it's over. And the only time it's ever really worked is if you fire him early. The new guy comes in and you say he is not our fucking guy going forward, but then you're tanking your entire season.
Yeah, it would create a crazy rift within the team too, because our offensive coordinator is Clint Kubiak, Gary Kubiak's son.
Yep.
His first year being an offensive coordinator, and
Who I love.
he's not ready to take over.
No, hey, if you want to give me a Kubiak, I'll take a Kubiak. Now he's probably not ready, but that's that Shanahan type offense.
And that's the only thing is that I feel like if we were to keep a coach in house, it would potentially be Kubiak, because the team I feel like would want to go for an offensive minded head coach at this point. The next closest guy would be Andre Patterson, who's been our defensive line coach for a long time. He's now our co-defensive coordinator, along with Adam Zimmer, Mike Zimmer's son. So that,
well,
like I
he's
said,
gone.
If you fire Zimmer
He's gone
mid-year, you're also losing your linebacker coach and co-defensive coordinator, which is rough. Andre Patterson, I love him. I don't necessarily see him as a head coach. I don't. But Andre Patterson is an amazing defensive line coach, one of the best in the league. He continues to put out really good talent.
He is very good, and he's not quite as good as Callahan, but I mean,
Callahan, isn't that an offensive line coach?
I thought that's what you said. Offensive line.
Defensive line.
Oh, defensive line. I misheard.
Yeah, Callahan's offensive line, and he's awesome.
Yeah,
Sure.
Callahan's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
We got the best line in the league. Quick update: Ohio State beating the fuck out of Akron, 52-7.
But yeah, that's
Still not quite covering.
That's where my worry is that, like, I love Zim. I am coming around to the fact that it might be time for a parting of ways. I just don't know who would be a good fit that I could get excited about to bring in to be the new head coach. And I'm not looking forward to a potential rebuild type situation.
Yeah. And at this point, there are no real premier candidates in the coaching search. Like, there's no talks. I mean, Lincoln Riley ain't coming. You're not, and if you don't want a college guy,
I'm not saying no to college guys.
The best guy. Lincoln Riley's probably the best guy, but I don't know if Lincoln Riley makes that transition. Most college guys don't make that fucking transition. There's only two that have won a national championship and won a Super Bowl, and that's Jimmy Johnson for the Cowboys in Miami and Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Those are the only two guys that have made that transition. It's incredibly fucking hard. It's a different game. So you can maybe get some short-term success, but like
I'm not against a college coach.
Who the hell is the offensive coordinator out in Kansas City? God damn. Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a potential guy.
I would consider Bieniemy. Yeah. I like Eric Bieniemy. He was actually running back coach for the Vikings for a long time too. So that'd be kind of cool to bring him back in. But I would much rather over a retread former head coach, NFL head coach or something like that, I would rather bring an up-and-coming coordinator in.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that the Vikings would be looking for an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. You go from defense, you got to go offense. It's
and usually
classic overcorrect.
The way it's been going for a lot of these guys is if you've sniffed one of Sean McVay's farts,
then you're getting hired.
You're probably going to get hired.
Yeah.
Right. So thanks, John, for sending in those mailbag questions.
That was a really good fucking question, man, because it hit on both our teams.
It hurt my feels a little.
Yeah, I'm sure it sucked. I also love the fact that you tried to bury Eva with the fruity drink comments as I sit here and drink a Cutwater margarita.
Yeah, and I'm drinking black and tan beer out of a jug.
Yeah.
But I would love to have that fruity drink. I'm all for the liquor. But we also got some other questions from Kimmel again.
We have Kyle Kimmel, who has been a huge supporter of the mailbag, sending in a ton of questions. Kimmel, you fucking rock, dude. I love you. I love working with you, and then you also make the extra work I do outside of work even better by sending in these questions.
Well, Kyle Kimmel.
Yeah, keep sending them, bro. He's got 3 questions in here. So we got the first question. Justin Fields has been named the starter for Week 3. If he plays well, do you see him starting the remainder of the season? To be honest, I was surprised that the Bears were starting Andy Dalton to begin with. So we have been on the record saying that Andy Dalton never fucking should have started based on the things that we saw. Justin Fields starting in Week 3. Congratulations, Justin. That is your job going forward. I know that fucking Nagy said when Andy Dalton comes back, he's our starter. No, he's fucking not.
Yeah, if Fields plays well, like we generally expect him to,
Yep.
And he's undeniable, again, you can't take the hot hand off the
No,
field.
you fucking play your best player.
Your
Sorry, guys, technical difficulty there. Was not the camera this time, which is weird. It's actually where we save all of our videos to, all of our audio to. Actually had too much data, which means we're just putting out too much fucking content for you guys to handle.
too much content, but it's all on the interwebs now, so it's eternal.
Yeah, it will be eternal after I fucking edit this and put it out for you guys. But
Back to the Raiders.
yeah, back to the Raiders. So they have looked really good. They're in a tough division, right? We talked about the tough division. They got the Chiefs.
Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos,
Chiefs,
and
Chargers,
then the
Broncos,
Raiders.
and the Raiders. I really like the Raiders. I think
they're fringe wild card at best, honestly.
Man,
I think that they are going to end the season less than 500. I think that they have outplayed themselves and their talent right now. Carr has played very well, but I mean, they were able to beat the Ravens, and credit to them because the Ravens just beat the Chiefs. But the Ravens didn't look great in that game. And I think that, they played a soft Steelers team last week. I don't see them breaking 500. If they continue to outperform fringe wildcard team, maybe, but I'm still seeing Chiefs and Chargers, both from the West, being able to make the playoffs this year, and I don't see a third spot going to the Raiders. I would pick the Broncos over the Raiders making it this year.
See, and I'm not I don't dislike the Broncos team. I think that because now there's 7 teams from each division that make the playoffs. The Raiders are right in that conversation. They are somewhere between 6 and 8. I can see them missing, but I can see them making the playoffs. Derek Carr has played so goddamn good. That Raiders defense is drastically improved. I could see them squeaking in. They're not going to win their division because it's the Chiefs' division. We think the Chargers should be good. The Broncos are playing very well right now, and they have another easy game this week against the Jags. So I see them as a fringe playoff team. I wouldn't mind seeing the Raiders make the playoffs.
So this is who I've got from the AFC. All right. I've got Tennessee, Buffalo, New England, Baltimore, Cleveland, Kansas City, Chargers.
Okay.
Those are my 7. And the next closest for me would probably be the Broncos and the Raiders. So they're in
fringe.
that 8 to 9 range for me, which is why I'm putting them at that fringe level.
So say your picks again.
Tennessee, and that's the only one from the AFC South that I see making it because Texans, Colts, and Jags, not at this point. All right, Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, because the Jets and the Dolphins ain't going. Patriots are, again, at the bottom end of that, but I see them making it. Baltimore, the Browns, and then Chiefs and Chargers.
Okay. So with your list, I have them at about 8. They're fringe playoff. I don't have the Patriots making it. I just think that
the Patriots, like I said, they're towards the bottom of my list of who would be making it in. And if they're going to trade with someone, it would end up being someone like the Raiders. But head to head, I don't know if the Raiders are beating the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't. Man, I don't.
Obviously,
know.
that's not how this works. But
No, yeah. They're a fringe playoff team. They are a fringe. They're somewhere between 6 and 8 for me, maybe 6 and 9. And I know 7 teams get in now, but the AFC is fucking stacked. The AFC is absolutely stacked with talent. On the NFC side, I got Rams and Bucks, and then after that, it's a fucking crapshoot.
let's see here. So NFC West is tough because it is a really good division.
picked
But
every single
Cardinals,
one-
Rams, 49ers, I could see all of them potentially making it.
So I picked every team in the NFC West to go over 500. But somebody has to be at the bottom of that division.
Yeah. Bucks. Those are the only people from the South I see making it. NFC North.
Somebody's got to win the division.
I could see Packers and Vikings squeaking in, maybe.
The Vikings squeaking in.
And then NFC East.
South or
NFC
the
East is
yeah.
tough too. That's Washington, Dallas. Dallas will probably make it at this
That's a crapshoot.
if they keep on playing Philly or the Giants. Yeah.
Giants, I'm
rough.
out on. Phillies are playing better. I don't see. There's no fucking way two teams from the NFC East make it.
It would be one squeaking in, but yeah, AFC is definitely heavier than the NFC this year.
The AFC is
we'll see.
a fucking gauntlet, man.
Yeah.
Right now, it's an absolute gauntlet. There are so many good teams, young, up and coming quarterbacks. I mean, we got Mahomes, we got Lamar, we got Josh Allen,
the
we
Panthers
got
are
Baker.
3-0.
Packers are 3. I'm sorry,
Panthers.
the Panthers are 3-0. But
It could be rough going the next couple weeks with CMC out.
yeah, so CMC out for, is he on IR yet?
No, but they said that it's going to be several weeks.
Yeah, so he's probably going on IR. You're going to miss him for at least 3 weeks. That's going to be tough. That defense is going to have to be amazing. I could see them.
Next 3 weeks are Cowboys, Eagles, and Vikings for them.
Well, that's a pretty easy schedule based on the records.
No, I don't see them beating the Cowboys. The Eagles have been putting up a fight against people, so I think that's an even match. And of course, my Vikings are going to beat them.
Obviously. I cannot wait for next week when the Browns play the Vikings.
It'll be a good one. Too bad you're going to be out of town. Otherwise, we could sit here and have a
Yeah,
live
so
show.
we could do a live show. We absolutely could. We actually talked about doing a live show for that specific reason, but I will be out of town. We are going to look to do a live show at some point, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, I got it. We're going to look to do a live show at some point because we would love to have some interaction from the fans during the show. We will have to figure out how to make that happen with all the equipment, but that would be great. This is episode, I want to say 42. So we're not that far away from 50. Episode 50, we plan on doing something special for you guys, for us, to kind of celebrate that landmark in the show. I mean, you guys have been so amazing with all the things, like the contributions on the mailbag, the interactions on social, even the text messages that not everybody else can see. We always appreciate any kind of feedback, interaction. You guys absolutely rock. I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, we're rocking No Sleeves, Hanger 6. We're the thickest podcast. We got so many fucking taglines at this point, and
I'm just going to keep them running.
we are. But the thing that kind of keeps this going is you guys. Everything you guys do for the show is so appreciated. Continue to interact with the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I mean, Evo. What else have we got? Do we got anything else? Are we wrapping it up?
I got some breaking news.
Oh God. Oh, that's a ball sack. Oh, that's somebody's asshole with a ball sack.
It's a very, very hairy gooch. Breaking. Thanks, Google.
Thank you.
So I figured we
Google.
got to cap off the end of like a 3-hour show with
Yeah, this is by far our longest
little
show.
breaking asshole.
We didn't plan on a 3-hour show, but that's
This is what
you guys got.
happens when we're only able to do one show a week. Got to pack in a whole lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean, we're all about packing shit.
This is the Lyman Lounge, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will get back to you as soon as we can. Might be a week from now. Might be a little bit sooner. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll do what we can.
We will try to. If we can't get the Zoom show going this week, we will at least put some stuff out on social. I'm going to be at the Indians Rangers game on October 2nd. So you will at least get some content from me at that point. We're going to try to find a way to zoom this up so we can give you guys some content because I know you love it.
Yep. But hey, we got our final fight coming up here that we got to get out there and watch. So
Yes,
everybody,
we do.
thanks for tuning in. It's been awesome. Hit us up on those socials. Let us know what's going on and how we can do better. And we'll see how the rest of our picks tonight go and our picks tomorrow go.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. If you like the show, share it with your friends. If you don't like it, share it fucking anyways because somebody might have better taste than you. Love you guys. This is the Lineman Lounge.
See ya.